Leaf keys.
Malian. Hello. Do I fuck with the fuck up? Do I fuck with the shy? Kí ló kan ayé? Ojojú ayé o ti fẹ́ jẹ ayé. Do I fuck with the street? Show you street, I'ma fuck you up. Àwọn girls, I'ma set you up. Àwọn boys, I'ma fuck you up. Do I wá on my wife? Do I bet on my bed? Do I gbà on my gbà? Do I já on my já? Fuck that shit, like that shit. Fuck that shit, me I like that shit. How many boys don't die for the streets? How many boys don't blow for the streets? Ọmọdé dọ́gbọ́n kíkún, àgbà dọ́gbọ́n sísun. How you no go no? Ayé mọ̀ ọ̀hún mọ̀, ó máa ṣọ̀kẹ́. Ní ọdún yìí ó bá ń ṣọpẹ́. Bá ń bẹ̀ tẹ̀, ó padà wá bẹ̀bẹ̀. Talele, kílele, talele, kílele, talele, kílele, talele, gómẹ̀, talele, kílele, talele, kílele, talele, talele, gómẹ̀, yọ̀gẹ́dẹ́ ọmọ àtẹmọ̀gbọ̀n ó pè lẹ́fọ̀ọ́. Dáṣà ló fọ́, tó bá fọ́ ìyọ̀gán náà fọ́. Ṣó lè kírun lásàlámù, tí pọ̀ tó wà lè sá fún wọn. Tó bá wá a máa ṣe fún wọn. Tó bá wá a máa ṣe fún wọn. Kò lè yé wọn. Kò tó yé wọn. Kò tó yé wọn. Kò lè yé wọn. Kò tó yé wọn. Kò tó yé wọn. Kí n ṣe mo gbọ́ mo wá. Ẹ̀yin lẹ fi ìwé pé wà. Adé wọn náà rántí tán. Wọ́n sọ pé mo bẹ̀ ló kù. Wọ́n jẹ́ sórí bí ṣe dé. Ẹni kọ́gbọ́n ti wọlé. Wọ́n jẹun yọ àmú tí yó. Ṣèbí gbogbo wa ti yó. Bàbá rẹ kò lè bẹ̀. Ìyá rẹ kò lè bẹ̀. Ẹ̀gbọ́n rẹ kò lè bẹ̀. Ìwọ nìkan ló lè bẹ̀. Ó lọ fi kú ṣeré. Bóyá ló máa délé. Bàbá ti wá yín wálé. A tún máa lé yín léré. Àwọn ọmọ kéékèèké. Àwọn ọmọ kò pọ̀kẹ́. Àwọn ọmọ kò gbẹ́bẹ̀. Má lọ jẹ́ kọ́ lọ káyẹ̀ mọ́ bẹ̀. Tó bá ń sunkún máa rí wọn. Ṣèbí wọn náà máa bí mọ̀. Mo ń ṣépè fọmọ lọ́mọ. Tẹ́ni tó dé màlá mọ̀. Tí ó gan bọ̀ lọ́nà. Sẹ́tọ̀ wọn ń bọ̀ lọ́nà. Wọ́n ní kókó mẹ́yẹn náà. Kó má lọ fara mú náà. Lórí ẹ̀ bá gbanú. Àmàlàgì mọ́ ẹ lórí. Ṣé bó sọ pé oníwèrè? Ẹgbẹ́ àmàlọ́kọ̀ wèrè. Hello.
Welcome to the Smiling Suffer podcast. On the mic, you got Corey, and here with me is Mr. G.
Wagwan.
Hey, it's been a minute, man. First episode of the year. Happy New Year, people. Happy New Year, Smiling Sufferers. A lot has happened, man, in the last couple of weeks. A shitload. And, but, you know, as always, we like to start with Afrobeat. The latest in Afrobeat. By the way, that was Koleyion by Naira Marley. I think Naira Marley's starting to build like a very impressive collection of music, not just for him, but his artists. I think we played one of his artists last week, Mobad. That's another very promising artist. You also have Zinoliski. He's also a promising artist. I think he also dropped an EP or an album recently too. Mm-hmm. But his imprint is starting to do some pretty big things. He also has that producer, Rexy on the beat, who did KPK. KPK is a huge song right now. Last I checked, it was at like top 5 on the Apple charts. That's the Kokboke. I think we played it on there. And as always, you can always find these tracks on Smiling Suffer playlist on Apple iTunes and on Smiling Suffer. Just search for it. Search for the Smiling Suffer playlist. You find it. All these songs, they're on there. Fresh, new, Afrobeat tunes. But yeah, man. So outside of that, man, what else is going on in Afrobeat? I think recently Burna Boy and Davido,
Udogu.
they got into a bit of a skirmish.
Scuffle, what you call
Yeah,
it?
kerfuffle.
Kerfuffle.
They got into it. This it was over Christmas, right? Was it Christmas event? Or was it New Year? It was in Ghana. It was in Accra.
It was New Year's, maybe Christmas. It was
Yeah. Can you kind of walk us through what happened from what you know?
All we've seen is one video or two videos. Of one is Davido being his ever energetic person, jumping, and people are kind of walking with him outside.
Yeah.
And the caption says, him and Bernard just had a little thing.
Yeah.
The other one, which is my favorite video, is I guess showing him at a earlier point inside the club when they started to walk him outside.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think like his people.
Uh-huh.
And you can tell he's also like agitated. And then the camera pans over to Wizkid,
Yeah.
who's just drinking his champagne, minding his business.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
But some people have come up. I don't. Everybody has come up with different versions. Some versions said Davido was performing, that Burna Boy was there, and then Davido was there peacefully, and Burna Boy came and started to cause trouble. Some have said they were playing. They showed a video of Davido performing, and they said Burna Boy was upset. They were playing the video song, but which I do think that's BS, because I'm pretty sure I've seen a video of Burna Boy also performing at that same venue that same night. I think whoever organized it had everybody coming, so I'm not really sure playing somebody's music is the trigger. I'm pretty sure it was just maybe somebody decided to taunt the other person, or it was like, look,
Perhaps.
we haven't seen on site since this whole incident has happened.
But
And,
I heard Burna was the one that
swung
stepped to
first.
him.
Yeah, so that's also another thing we've heard is Burna swung first.
Yeah,
But
a lot of rumors.
A lot of rumors.
We really
We don't
don't
know, but all we know is we've only seen the video being hurried out of the venue by his people, and I don't know if security, and Wizkid Starboy, the number one, just drinking his champagne
and then
and minding his business.
But I didn't see any images of Burna for some reason.
I didn't see anything
in
of
any
Burna,
the
but
videos.
I know Burna was there
Yeah, he must have been.
because I've seen videos of him earlier, and I've seen videos of him and Wizkid chilling together. So, lesson learned: there are three-headed monsters. I've shown you there are three different personalities that you can in life. They're multiple, but one was if we believe that Burna did attack him, then that's the aggressor, and Burna is like, look, man, this thing is beyond music. We have the other personality, which is always the loudest one, which happens to be the person we also have videos of walking out, and which is the video, who seems to be a very loud person, and we saw the aftermath of it where he started making videos and saying, I'm going to leave the industry for you people. And
Sorry, Wale, can you just give me 1 second?
Sure.
1 second, please.
Who dropped the diss track first?
Who dropped which diss track?
Fem came
out.
out before Way Too Big.
Okay, so Way Too Big was the first shot. Is that what you're saying?
No. Okay, Burna did throw the first public shot when he did the rant. So the video is obviously let's just go with the story that Burna was the aggressor. So Burna comes with his aggressive personality, and I don't stand for nonsense. The video, who is the victim in this case, if we're going with that story, does what the video does best. He was over energetic in the videos. We saw he was being, he's rowdy as self, and but then he went on Twitter and started ranting about how people he's going to stop the music, and he's going to leave the music industry for people, and people it's like, bro, shut the fuck up, and then started this whole Tule challenge, and once again, it's the sign of somebody who wants to always be center of attention, because you start a challenge and then you're paying people 2 million naira to participate in this challenge. And
wait, what was the challenge
I don't
about?
know. He was just shouting Tule, and I don't know what the fuck. Maybe it's a new slang thing. I know what Tule means, like, it should mean release it or let it go.
Let it go.
Yeah, do you get? But I don't know if it's a new.
I felt like
street
maybe he
stuff.
was trying to mock Like the way I interpreted it was maybe Tule was something Burna Boy was saying when they were fighting, like
Maybe
let him go.
It's possible.
And maybe he was trying to mock him.
That's very possible. But
Yeah,
then
so let me play this is the video that Davido dropped on his. Oh no. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really.
Strange.
It's very strange, and it's like if the story is to believe that you were hit first and you didn't hit back, then I'm not really sure you should be the person coming out to be making videos after. And then the third personality was Wizkid, who just minded his business.
Yeah. That one always minds his business.
I do believe I aspire to be that third personality. So, but you can pick which one of the three you want to be like.
Speaking of Wizkid, he did drop the Ginger video. What did you think?
You want to make a ginger? Give me the cocoa.
Yeah. I feel like I
like the video. They were playing Ayo with diamonds at the end.
Yeah, they were.
That was pretty OG.
That was dope.
Yeah.
I like the video. I just felt like they could have done even
more. I think
more.
also, I'm hoping during Corona too, though.
Okay, that's a point.
So,
that's a good point.
Yeah.
But I just felt like it was in the same warehouse. And everything was shut there.
But one thing but honestly though, looking at this without the sound,
it looks
this doesn't really
nice.
look like a typical Niger video. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and then one thing I say about Wizkid is actually he reminds me of Rihanna in a way. I don't think anybody can really pull off that outfit.
The colorway, I love that
this
colorway.
one with the shoes and everything, except this boy. I really don't think a lot of people like Rihanna wears some stuff where it's like if someone else wore this would be super ugly.
I like the color.
But I like the color, yeah. But the full outfit, I really think he's like the only one in this Niger industry, maybe one of two that can really pull that outfit off. But it's a dope video. It's it's not overly in your face. It's not like. It's you can see the creativity in it. I do know you wanted more.
I was hoping for a bigger budget.
I do think this might have been a decent budget, but obviously like more outside of a studio, a closed space video. But look, it works. It works good, man. And
Ginger is a jam.
And Burna Boy has posted like 3 or 4 this link or 4 or 5 times like this song, and it just goes back to show that their brotherhood or their friendship is not based off the hate of another man, as some have tried to say. It's not
based off of the hate of Davido.
Yeah, it's not based off mutual hate for Davido. Their friendship looks very genuine. And fun fact, this song was recorded during the time Burna Boy was recording his African Giant album.
Oh, really?
Yes, this song was not just recorded, so this is not new. This is not let's make a song together because you're hot, I'm hot. Davido is not. Nah. This is they did this because when you watch his Wizkid's YouTube stuff, you see the producer, I forget his name, talk about how they met and recorded the song. It was while he was recording songs for African Giants.
Have you noticed that regular Benz is now like a new flex?
Well, regular Benz is vintage now.
Vintage.
It's getting to the vintage level because this car
flex.
is like 1980 something. Yeah, so it's becoming vintage. It's over 30 years old now.
Yeah, right? I would definitely get one of those.
I know it's vintage. A nice clean one. Yeah, it's becoming.
I was probably shot in the UK.
It was shot in the UK. He did have a little behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's
I
where
fuck
they
with
were.
the Burners Dior sweatshirt, and I liked it. They look like they're having a good time, man. It wasn't disappointing for two of the 3 giants.
I guess if you put it in COVID context, I can understand why they did this video, especially in somewhere like Jan.
Yeah,
Jan
and this was done during that whole period
Jan is shut down completely. So maybe I'm hoping they can come up with another video. It wasn't a bad video though. It was very, very stylistically. It was. I mean, that was a nice flex.
That's a nice flex right there.
They were playing Ayo with diamonds,
man. Come on, man.
That was a nice
flex. Yes, style artistically, yes, but I do understand you probably want more, and it
was done by Meiji Alabi.
Meiji has been doing a lot of Wizkid videos too.
Oh yes.
And he's a popular guy too in the UK. So shout out to them for that.
Shout out, man. What else has happened in Afrobeat lately, man? I think that's the biggest news that has come out of Afrobeat as of recently, right? The
The Burner
Davido
Davido
joint.
fight. Burner and Steph are still together. For those who are wondering.
Yes, for the people that were thinking
They were
that they were
thinking
going to
that-
tank their
that
relationship. You see,
The
it's so funny
Sierra
when,
Leonean girl was going to come in between him. Nah,
whenever I see. Oh, by the way, did you see the girls rant?
I saw
Sierra
it.
Leonean
It's
girls rant.
stupid, man.
Whenever,
Everybody just wants 15 minutes of fame.
Whenever
and
I
guess
see-
what? She's done.
whenever I see girls, right, try to out Niger men, especially.
It doesn't work.
I'm always like, have you not learned?
It doesn't work.
You remember those twins that tried to do it with Otedola
It
one
doesn't
time?
work.
That they almost
Bro, it doesn't work.
they almost arrested them in
it doesn't
Niger.
even work.
But it's been happening lately, and there was one that happened recently where it was
Dangote,
it was Dangote.
Dangote,
and it was this
Steve
girl.
Devon.
What was her name? I am Bay Lewis, right?
There were two of them.
Yeah, I am Bay Lewis. Some girl called I am Bay Lewis came out and basically
Wanted to flex
she wanted to flex about
her life. So the flex was almost a recap of what had happened in her life. Now I don't know what's her follow from what I read or heard or saw when it was happening. Was her following was not that much prior to. I don't think this is the real her. Is this her?
It's her. She has reduced some of the pictures that she had on there, but she still has a picture with Dangote on top.
Oh, okay. Because no, I click on like the videos because her following looks like it's gone back down. Or did she delete?
It
people?
did?
I don't think this is her.
You don't think so?
Yeah, but anyways, her following her she wasn't getting a lot of attention.
Okay, maybe this is her.
No, see, there are a lot of spin-off accounts.
They're spin-off accounts. That's what they're doing.
But anyways,
Anyways,
was not getting as much. I don't know who she was. Nobody knew who she was. Well, maybe a few people did. And
Yeah.
she came up one day and decided to talk about just what she's learned from 2020. And obviously, name drop, I dated the richest black man in the world.
Yes.
And that's obviously where everybody caught the like, what's
what's going on?
going on here?
yeah.
And yeah, it's bro. Look, she said she dated him, and she has pictures of them together.
Yes.
So
She said that she learned a lot
she
from
learned a
him.
lot from. Oh yeah, he broke her heart into.
Yeah, he broke her heart into or something like
into
that.
Something pieces or something like that. Guy, at the end of the day, and then she kind of plugged in her new ventures and like businesses and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
so it felt like she was kind of clout chasing.
was clout
But then she
chasing.
didn't stop there. She also went on Clubhouse. Didn't she?
no.
She didn't go. Wasn't she on
No,
Clubhouse?
so-
Wasn't she talking about it on Clubhouse?
No, so maybe
Oh,
actually.
oh, it was-
Well, hold on. So I don't know if she personally went on Clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know a group of some people decided to bring Simba.
Okay,
Who
okay. So
happened, yeah.
we'll talk about Simba in a bit. Yeah, okay. Sorry, it was Simba that came on Clubhouse. But yeah, so she came out and she was talking about it. I don't quite remember if she was on Clubhouse or not.
I don't remember too.
But then-
she might have been
But then what that did was it sparked another girl that came out.
to kind of say
Some girl that allegedly Dangote is currently dating, right? Some
that's
all
the
around
one
girl.
that posted picture of him in the orange.
Yes, I mean it kind of got messy.
So she posted a picture of him in the orange. Whatchamacallit?
In an
comforter,
orange comforter, but his
And
ass was hanging
his ass
out.
was hanging out.
Okay,
And,
okay. So I found it. So this is Bay Lewis. This is how it started. Bay Lewis in an Instagram post happily revealed, in my 33rd year, I dated the richest black man in the world. He broke my heart in 1,000 pieces. I learned more from him than any person I've ever met. Communicating with a billionaire daily makes you see the world different. You know what? I don't want to give this too much air, but basically that's the picture of him. She posted the picture of him and of her and Dangote. She's this thick girl. I think she's originally from the US, right? And she must have lived. She must have been in Niger a lot, but that then
I
prompted.
think she said, "Oh, you know what? Maybe she did come on Clubhouse."
Yeah, I think she
because
came on
they
Clubhouse.
asked her how did she meet him, and there's a story about they met at the Mercedes dealership. I don't know if it's in
Yes.
in the post,
No,
but
it's
I know
not
that
in-
story was going around that they met at the Mercedes dealership.
Yes.
so-
So yeah, she
She
did
might
come on
have-
Clubhouse,
she
and
might
she
have
claimed
been on Clubhouse,
she
yeah.
claimed they met at a Mercedes dealership, and that's where they kind of linked up.
Yeah.
And then this other girl came out, some all around.
And it
girl.
was like,
the guy has a type though. Have you
does
noticed?
have a type,
Tall, long legs.
Yes.
Big boobs.
Black.
Dark.
Black Americans.
Black Americans. Yeah. Wasn't that strange?
And that was what's made some, well,
Okay, and we'll get to it.
yeah.
We'll get to it. So the all-around girl comes and is pretty much insulting this girl, right? That she was claiming that the girl doesn't know Dangote like that, and that trying
even
to claim
texted
that,
Dangote. I think Dangote called her a thug.
yeah, trying to claim
According
that,
to the screenshot.
trying to claim that she was just clout chasing essentially,
Basically,
and then she now posted this picture
of Dangote's ass.
and Dangote's ass was out.
She posted a bunch of stuff in her story of him in her with him in a private hangar.
Yes.
With a private jet.
Yeah,
I think it was about to buy it or he something funny like that.
I mean, it was messy, and and then that's when the Dangote bomb in Miami Orange.
So the group was created, and it was created by a bunch of popular Nigerian Twitter
Yes.
people.
Yes.
Some controversial, some not, but anyways, they were created a group.
That's the girl. by the way.
Now, they decided. I don't know if it's this. So I think a guy and girl. Some people decided to get Simba.
Okay.
Simba
yes.
happens to be a call girl, I guess is what I'll call her.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know too much about Simba, but
someone brought her on Clubhouse.
She's supposed. I don't know if she has an OnlyFans, but I think she's a call.
She does. She does have an
who's
OnlyFans.
always in Nigeria and Ghana.
Yeah,
a lot. She
big
dates
girl.
a lot of
Like-
Nigerian billionaires, and so they called her to come and talk about just dating a Nigerian billionaire and stuff like that. And that line of work she's in. Now, some have said the motive of the calling Simba was for her to drag Nigerian men on Twitter, but they online they did frame it as. So I went on Simba's page and she said she was going to talk sex education. That's why she's doing this Clubhouse thing. But her reasoning for giving a sex talk was, would you rather someone who's only had sex like with 2 people or something like that give you sex education rather than someone who's had sex with over 2,000 or whatever the number was, 200 people.
Yes.
And that's kind of funny to me because sex education is not just about how to suck dick. Like that's what she was doing. She was talking about how to suck dick and stuff like that. It's not, I don't really think that sex education, yes, includes sexual activity, but it also includes stuff like consent. It also includes stuff like preventive measure. But so I think they should dead that whole narrative of she came to give sex ed talk. I think they just wanted someone to come and talk about how it's like to be dating these billionaires.
Yes.
And
there were a lot of people.
There were a lot of people on
thousands
there.
of people
Now
on
here's
there.
what happened in the process. Shorty decides to drag Nigerian women.
Yes.
Which a lot of them, from what I heard, I was in there at this point. I actually wasn't even never in the room, but I was hearing people were just saying what happened. So
And for the
don't
record,
quote me.
For the record, she did deny that she was with Oshibanjo. She just said
Oh
she
yeah,
just-
no.
she
The
denied.
Osinbajo stuff was they were at an event and they took a picture together. So
Yes.
But anyways, what I heard, and like I say, you can call me out if it's wrong or whatever, is that she started to drag Nigerian women.
Yes.
And make statements about how Nigerian women don't know how to have sex. Because the reason I'm saying is because that spilled over into our room and we were having that conversation. The room you and I was in.
Yeah.
So she said she's been in what they said. She said was like she's been in like rooms. She's been in situations where she's having threesomes with Nigerian women, and they just
You just
looking
don't know
at
how
them
to-
like, what are you doing? You don't know how to. Why are you giving head like that? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And I think so. She started to drag Nigerian women and said that these billionaires. That's why they prefer people like
People from out of town.
Belu, these women that Dangote seems to prefer. So that became its own thing again in its own
Yes.
entirety, where Nigerian women now got mad.
Yeah. So my read on it was, and I'm glad the way you put it that way, because that's like the official, technically what happened. But here is my read on it. My read was that she was brought on Clubhouse to be like this symbol of like women, sexual empowerment for women. Because there was a lot of these feminists that were on there
very
asking her
possible.
questions. I mean, there
possible.
were some that I identified, like well-known, like internet feminists, right?
Yeah, I have some of them on my mute list on Twitter.
And and I remember they were asking all these questions, and some people were like, "Yeah, you're so bold. I like that you just own your feminism. This your like the fact that she's a sex worker. Basically, they put her on this pedestal, and I think that was what it was. That was what it was. They brought her to like maybe kind of own her sexuality in a sense."
Which is fine.
Which is fine, but I think what then happened was that the minute she started talking shit about Nigerian women, then it made them look silly because it backfired on them. Because it was almost like, wait, we brought you on here just so that you can shit on us, and it caused a whole ruckus on Clubhouse. There were like several threads
so
on
many
there.
Spin-off rooms.
I mean, you don't understand. There was so many fights.
Just let me address them real quick. So me saying I have some of them on my mute list is because there's a controversial topic going on right now where somebody said Twitter feminist is it a myth or something like that. And I know there are people who are upset about that. I haven't really been in the room to hear what they're talking about. But why I have some of these people on my mute list is I feel a lot of them are their aim in life is to just be controversial rather than really be supportive of this movement that we call feminism. So once you start being extra or intentionally controversial, I kind of just don't want to really see what you're about, because I feel like everything you do in life, you just want to be controversial. And I don't think that helps any movement or any cause in just being an alarmist and just being. So that's why some of them are muted. But like you said, some have, and feminism is, this pod is not about feminism, but some have made it clear that feminism is ability to do whatever you fuck you want to do. So if you want to be a sex worker, be a sex worker. And some have taken
We're not shaming anyone.
Some have taken a stance that being a sex worker is a stance, is feminism. Yes, it's not the only type of feminism. It's one type if you want to be quote unquote empowered. I'm not really sure how being a sex worker empowers your body, but I'm not a woman and I'm not a sex worker, so I don't know. You get the same way I don't know how there are a lot of other occupations that I'm not really sure how that's empowering to your body. But
I don't agree that. I don't agree that. I understand the concept behind it, that they have. They say they have their. They own. There's a term that they use for it, but basically they have the agency to do what they want to do with their body and shouldn't be allowed to be shamed for it. That's all well and good. However, I do think that when we start talking about sex work, I think if you're talking about sex work without also talking about the dangers that may come as a result of sex work, I feel like you're doing people a disservice. I feel like when we try to glamorize things like sex work, I think we are doing people, because look, if I had a child, I wouldn't want her to be a sex worker. And a lot of people wouldn't. So this idea that we try to glamorize this thing and we try to make it seem like, oh yeah, this is some kind of form of feminism, I personally don't agree with it. If you are going to talk about sex work, I think it needs to be in a way that you're also talking about the dangers that come with sex work, because a lot of things happen when women go into these places that I think people don't really pay enough attention to. There are a lot of women that get harmed in the process. There are a lot of predators out there.
Oh, women get raped.
Yeah, there are a lot of predators out there that do some really, really shicey shit.
Kidnapped.
You always hear of all these stories on Instagram where like sex workers aren't getting paid.
Yeah.
Like men trying to like swap them. Like I'm always seeing one story like that almost every other week of in some Niger prostitute that
it's
what I'm saying?
Yeah. So anyways, they say, oh, you want to finish?
Yeah. So I just feel like it's one thing to talk about sex worker, but I think we have to talk about all sides, and we have to be careful with how we glamorize it. But sorry, go on.
Yeah. So, but either ways, I mean, like if your form of feminism and you the hill you want to stand on is sex work, so be it. Feminism allows you to do whatever the fuck you want to do.
That's true.
But don't force it and make it seem like the person who's not fine with sex work or who wouldn't be a sex worker is anti-feminist or is a human being can decide it's just not for them. Doesn't mean they're against the movement. So, but like back to this controversial character, some of them is they've stuck on the sex aspect of their version of feminism and the man-hating aspect or the so many more. Not all of them. I don't know who all the people that organized the room, but I did see some names that I was like, yeah, these people are on my mute list, you know. So, but anyways, whatever reason it was, either it was sex education, even some guys on there that were in that running that thing too. I have on my mute list, by the way. So either it was sex education, quote unquote, or feminism, women empowerment, whatever. Either ways, they felt it was okay to bring Simba.
Yeah.
And Simba came on, and it backfired because
it did.
Simba started to abuse Nigerian women.
Yes.
And now I heard these women didn't even say anything to her.
They didn't. They
And
didn't.
which is like, are you stupid? Like,
Yeah.
this is the time for you to stand up and be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
However, some people created other.
Now you went to create spin-off rooms to talk about it behind her back?
Yeah, and then I think there was a split amongst them too, because there were some people that were still defending her, and then there were some girls who were like, "What the heck? Like, how
you're a Nigerian
would we bring this
woman
girl
and
on
you
here?"
brought somebody who's abusing Nigerian women, which is a false fact that Nigerian women don't know how to have sex.
Exactly.
It's a false
the
fact.
funny
So
thing.
you
That's
guys all
bullshit.
gave her this eye service and let her talk her shit, and then
That's
afterwards
complete
go
bullshit.
and talk. Like at that point, I'll tell you, Simba, shut the fuck up. What do you mean Nigerian women? Like, but instead
That's
they were just like
complete
what I heard,
bullshit.
and I wasn't there, so you can call me out, but I wasn't there. But what I heard was they were just quiet.
Yeah.
So
They
I'm
were-
like, what is going on? Like, are you guys?
That shit
You know,
backfired like a mug.
but you know, it is what it is at this point.
It is
and-
what it is.
And you know, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
She's done her damage. They've made all the spin-off rooms and made their case. Some
She
people
probably got her followers up a little
Some
bit.
people got mad at some of the moderators and said they brought this woman here to attack Nigerian women. Some said they brought her to attack Nigerian men. There's so many theories about the reasoning behind Simba being there. I personally think Simba was just there to give them juicy gist
Yeah,
about
man, and get her
being a
and get her
call girl
follower
in
up.
Nigeria, not because of any women empowerment or not because of any sex education, just because people want gist. And she was willing to talk.
And
so
she got attention.
and she got her
She
attention.
had
And
2 to 5,000 people listening to her.
once
Like,
again, I'm in support of calling things what it is. Stop hiding behind some certain woke agenda. It's Simba is not. It's just there to do what Simba came to do, and she's done it. So we're. Prior to today, I don't think I've ever spoken about Simba, and here we are today talking about Simba.
this is probably gonna hopefully my last time.
So do you
talking about
understand?
her.
She's done what she wanted to do, and she's gained her attention, and she's gone. So you guys learn your lesson next time. Don't fall into this.
Yo.
These people are smarter than you think they are.
Yo, when I
You know.
heard these people shouting at themselves,
Yeah, then
man, I was
now it
cracking
became a
up.
gender war in Nigeria. Now it became Nigerians versus Nigerians, and Simba left you people in the room.
He left
to the arms of the Nigerian billionaire who she's currently with, and you guys are arguing.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, let's
But,
do better next time, please.
But moving on from that, though, there was something else that came up over the last week or so. It was this particular case that a lot of people were talking about online. It's the managing director of First City Monument Bank Limited in Nigeria. His name is Adam Nuru. I mean, this is on Sahara Reporter, so it's not like I'm snitching on anyone. Some Sahara Reporters, but allegedly, this guy may have been having. Well, actually, you
Have
know
you
what?
seen the children? It's still not passed allegedly, man.
Dude. Anyway,
But let's use
okay,
allegedly,
so
though.
so allegedly, right? So there's this guy called Tunde Thomas, and he has his wife, who is Moyo Thomas. I think they've been having issues in the home for a while. They eventually, I think she separated from him, and she moved to the U.S. She took her kids. She has 2 kids, and took them to the U.S. And I think in between their back and forth, she dropped it on him, saying something along the lines of, "Well, the kids ain't yours, anyways."
Well, he said. They said he had said. I think there's a daughter, right?
Yeah, there's a daughter and a son.
Something about something about bride price, I think, or marriage with the daughter.
Oh, okay.
So she had made jokes like, "Who even told you it's you they'll come to talk to when it's time to marry her?" Like, she's not the kids are not even yours, something like that. So it was something along that line.
Yeah, something
or
along the lines of the kids aren't even yours. And what then happened was this guy apparently went through this heartbreak, according to some people. They say he was going through a heartbreak. They say he tried to move on. The person that she was allegedly cheating with him on happened to be the managing director of
a company. that she works for.
Of a company that she works for.
FCMB Bank.
FCMB Bank. That's the First City Monument Bank. His name is Adam Nuru. And so this thing hits online, and apparently, well, before it went online, the guy, for some reason, was going through like some kind of heartbreak. Now they said that he was moving on. He was about to go propose to another girl. I guess he was going to move on with another girl, right? But that something happened, and he had a heart attack. He died.
He committed suicide.
Oh, is it suicide that they say he committed?
That was the initial story I heard, but what's the guy's name again?
His name is Tunde Thomas.
Yeah, I heard it was, suicide, but maybe that was false Twitter.
Okay, so over here, Sahara Reporter says it was gathered that Tunde tried to put the matter behind him and decided to remarry. Remember I said that? He reportedly suffered a cardiac arrest and died 2 days to the introduction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was a heart attack. 2 days to the introduction ceremony of his new girlfriend. And that's when someone now came out and said he died of a heartbreak. So again, all this is all alleged. All alleged. But the point is that they're saying that this guy was the father of the kids, and then it sparked this huge debate about paternity
They also said
tests.
her parents and family knew about this, and they didn't say anything, and well, you see the kids, and those kids look like Adam Nuru, like they're chubby, light-skinned kids, and you see Adam Nuru is a chubby, light-skinned guy.
They definitely looked like
and Tunde Thomas is dark-skinned,
yeah, those are the kids.
Like they don't have any features of his.
Yeah.
If we're being honest, like not at all.
Adam Nuru even looks like he may be mixed a little bit.
Yeah, and those kids look like, Adam Nuru.
Crazy.
But
she's also light-skinned though. So it could be that. Again, it's all alleged.
I think the only picture we've seen of her is her with makeup on, so I don't think we can tell.
So we don't know.
Because it's that same one picture, so I don't know how light-skinned. Come on, look at the guy, look at the kid. Now, this is like...
It's crazy.
That's his twin. That boy. Look at the kids. They're chubby. She's not chubby. This Tunde guy is not chubby.
Dude, it's crazy.
The kids are chubby. The kids are light-skinned. Adam Nuru is chubby and light-skinned with his triple chin. Like, come on now. Like...
But anyway, it sparked this huge debate, and I want to get your take on this. But it sparked this huge debate because there were some people that came out and said, "Look, you have to do a paternity test. If you have any doubts, any question that the kid is yours, you have to go out and do a paternity test, even if it means going behind the mother's back, right?" And that's when there was this back and forth, because then there was some girls that were saying that if you came and did a paternity test behind my back and you found out after the fact that those kids were yours, then obviously it's not going to work out between us. And that's when there was this big debate about, okay, should you be asking her? Should you get her approval? Should you do it behind her back? And it was just this whole big thing. I have a take on it. Wale, I don't know if you want to go first, but what's your take on paternity
study?
testing?
And I haven't studied that data, but the study out there claims 3 out of 10 Nigerian men are not the father of their kids.
Shit is wild, man.
And
shit is wild. If true, that shit is wild.
Is true, then you're telling me that 30% of the population as a father, you're not the father of the kid.
But why do you think that is? There's this notion that a lot of women step outside of the house, and that they're better at hiding their infidelity.
So there's so many things behind it. Let's looking at being from a very conservative family, as a family, a nation. One could be, and I'm not justifying infidelity, but one could be, imagine married to a traditional man who's only sex and knows how to have sex one way, and as a woman you want to be pleased in multiple ways, and he's refused to do certain things, and you see a young man or another man who's willing to do it, you step out. Also you might be in a loveless marriage, you might be in a marriage where you were almost forced into, you're not happy, there are a lot of things that push you, or you might just be a hoe, to be honest. There are a lot of reasons that push you. But because of the kind of conservative country we come from, not only is that women are hide it easier, we tend to not want to believe women can do such a thing, because our society paints men as the only the ones who cheat and go out there and because the men are very reckless with it in Nigeria too. So, they don't hide it, especially in Lagos. It's not a hidden thing. But the women, I believe it's not a man or woman that is a human being thing. I believe human beings, if given the opportunity and they want to do it, they will cheat. It's not a case of, it's just human nature. Now, so cheating is a thing. And it seems like it's rampant in Nigeria from both parties. Now, the downside to cheating is, as a woman, you can come back pregnant.
Yes.
As a man, you can get somebody pregnant, but you can also prevent it. And if you get someone pregnant, you can convince them to take it out. Now, as a woman, in a married woman, if you get pregnant, you might not want to take that child out for another. Again, remember we had that conversation about pro-life and pro-choice. Yeah. As a conservative nation, we're very, very pro-life. And so these women get pregnant. And rather than abort, it doesn't seem like an option. They decide to keep the baby. So what you can do is just try and say, well, I'm already in a relationship, already married. I'll just pin it on
this guy.
And
you think that's what's going on in a lot of these cases? That's what goes on
in all of these cases, is these women just pin it on. And then there's also, in Nigeria, like I said, conservative people, when you marry, the first thing pastor is doing is praying for you to have kids. They don't want to hear that you don't want to have kids.
There's a lot of pressure.
There's a lot of pressure too. So there's also a lot of pressure too. So they don't want to hear that you don't want to have kids. So whatever the case may be, they get pregnant, they keep these babies, and then they give it to the men. And they pin him in. Now, as a man, you're obviously, especially when I might have been trying to have kids at one point, or you're just casual, you're having sex with your wife comes back pregnant, you're not going to doubt her and say, unless you're fertile. Yeah. Is it infertile or fertile?
Yeah, unless you're impotent.
Unless you're impotent, unless you're shooting blanks, and you know for sure, then you'd be like, So you're not going to doubt your wife. Kids come out. Babies necessarily don't. When people post pictures of their babies, like, oh, this is my twin. I'm like, nigga, that's a fucking egg, man. Like, you can't really see it. You can't really see it. So babies come out and you can't really see what's going on. I think the older the child comes is, I think, until certain features start to show, maybe when they're 10, 11, that's when people start to see that, this child is not my child.
And by the way, the Moyo Thomas has denied that she ever said that the kids weren't his. She's come out and put out a statement and denied that. We have to just say that, just so that we're not.
Look at the kids, bro. And then there were quote unquote leaked messages between her and her boss to show they were in contact and they had pet names for each other and stuff like that.
Yeah. Now the affair doesn't. Now that seems legit. It seems like there really was an affair. Yeah.
So, anyways, now here's the problem. Now, so 10 years later, you see that this child does not look like mine. And, the child doesn't have to look identically like yours because there's stronger genes, weaker genes, but at least there's certain features that it might be a smile, it might be the way the child just stares into the blank space. There's certain things that you can tell, at least this is my kid. Now, moving down the line, you find out. So you're now faced with a dilemma. Is you've loved this child for 10 years. You've cared for this child for 10 years. What do you do? Do you go and find out if it's really your child? And if it's not your child, then how do you react? Now, I think it's like Pandora's box. Yeah. I believe, you can open it and so much more can come out. Or Schrodinger's cat, where you don't know if the cat is dead or not. So your mind plays with you. It's like, what is going on exactly? I personally would tell people to maybe just let it go. Because
you mean like at that point, once you've already got to love the child,
you've got to love the child.
Would you let it go?
I think at that point,
God forbid that happens to you.
Because at that point, it's like I said, this thing is not happening. This isn't happening 10 years down the line. You've come to love this child. This child is yours. You at that point, what do? Okay, you do the test and find out the child is not yours. You're going to. I don't know if
I feel like I can do the. I feel like I can do the test, still love the child, but and not still hate the mother.
I hate the mother. So now, so
I have to know though.
Now you do have. It's honestly, when people pose questions like this to me, I tell them honestly, everything I say is hypothetical because I'm not.
You never really know
when you're in there. You don't know as a human being how you're going to react. So hypothetically speaking, I might let it go, or hypothetically speaking, I'm like, what the fuck? This been 10 years of taking. So I don't know, but now. Where women come into play is you do the test and you find out it's mine. It's yours. It means don't trust me.
Yeah.
And that then becomes another thing is like, do you want to put your wife in a situation, or your partner or whatever, in a situation where they believe you didn't trust me to the extent that you think I had sex with somebody else and got pregnant for the person and then have lied to you for 10 years? It's a lot to deal with.
It's tricky.
So it's a very tricky situation. Maybe the only thing I can actually tell people is when you give birth, that moment,
I think you should
do a test.
Especially if you've ever had doubts. Let's say you guys weren't
cool for a week or two.
Yeah, if you've ever had doubts, I think it's just always it's never. I remember someone once telling me this. One of my good friends, he said that, look, it doesn't matter. Like, he will always check on every kid. Yeah, this person said that, and I didn't understand it at the time, but then you look at it and you have to understand. I think in Nigeria, the reason why it's so unique to Nigeria, it's very simple. It's big manism culture. Like, a lot of Nigerian men, we always say they're ashewo, they're ashewo that. It's not only single women that they're doing ashewo with.
Of course,
they're doing it with other people's wives.
Yeah, wives. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, she looks from the picture we put, she looks pretty attractive, and a
lot of them are doing it.
Wives are not ugly now. Just because your wife doesn't mean you're not.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And look, when you have money, that's
of course.
That's what a lot of them do.
A lot of them do.
It doesn't matter whether you go to Nigeria. Like, it doesn't matter whether you have a ring on your finger. Those men, they shoot at whoever they want to shoot at.
Openly,
they shoot at whoever they want to shoot at. So I think that's part of why it's such a unique problem in Nigeria, because there are a lot of regular men that got married, and because there's so much pressure from all these other richer men that are coming for you. If your wife happens to be fine and a bad babe,
and they come at her one day, and she's like,
they can pull her away at any given point. And
she's like, look, man, you know what? I'm gonna stay with my husband, but I'm not. Doesn't mean I'm not gonna fuck.
You know what I'm saying? So there's so much pressure, and I think that's why it's that big of a problem in Nigeria. And I think also the fact that women don't have as many rights too. So they're not, like in somewhere like Yankee now, a woman makes her money. Because I'm married to a woman doesn't mean she might make even more money than me. Wow. So I think things, there's more equality in places like first world countries. In places like Nigeria, where it's like the rich basically eat the poor, and it's the same thing. They eat their wives, like, obviously, not literally, but probably literally speaking. Literally speaking. So I think that's why it's such an issue in Nigeria. And I think in somewhere like Nigeria, I think you would be naive if you didn't take that precaution, especially if you know your wife isn't necessarily, like, if she can easily be swayed by money. Then maybe that's something that you might want to consider.
But then again, you don't know now. Sometimes
that's the thing. You don't know. You
Look,
don't know.
Well, maybe I'll just change my stance. If you suspect, just do the test, man.
Yeah,
and
if you suspect, do it.
Honestly, I don't know. I'm pretty sure you should be able to do the test without having to.
You can do it with the hair, right?
Your kid's hair. Just
swab.
I think you can do. Can you do a paternity test without the mother? I think you can.
You can.
So just
you can.
You don't tell her then. Just do it and don't tell her.
You can, and don't tell her.
Don't tell her.
Because if you tell her, man,
whatever the result is, because you're testing the child to you. The question is not is the child her child. The question is the child your child. And then men too. I think at some point too, maybe you want to also go test if you're shooting blanks too, because the possibility that you might be a man who's shooting blanks and your wife keeps getting pregnant and you're like,
I think that pressure to also get pregnant is also really big.
And
in
the pressure
Nigeria.
to get pregnant too, because
I think that's a factor too.
That can be a case where they've been trying, and he should. And then the problem in Nigeria is from the church down to society.
Usually the woman
they blame. Somebody held her womb. This one come and pray against your bro. That nigga might have low sperm count. That nigga might be fertile. And she's been trying with him. It didn't happen, and she tries with her side piece once, and she gets pregnant. She's not going to abort that child, So,
which brings me to my next question, but I think we probably need to get to this after the break. The question about shooting shots.
Okay.
And because that debate also came up.
We can go before the break.
You think so?
How long
No, because that might take another 10 minutes, and I want us to go on a quick break. So, Wale, can you introduce this track for us? It's a Runtown track, Abi.
Yeah, it's Runtown. It's called If You Happen for Lagos.
And he just came out over the Christmas?
He came out the day before Christmas.
Okay, I haven't heard from Runtime in a while, so
Yeah, me too. That's why I said let's
nice.
yeah.
So this is If He Happen for Lagos. Check this out.
Yeah.
It's Maestro on the beat, baby.
If you don't know big man, you never know pesin. You know shiny eyes, you never see something. You never party fago, you never do nothing. Government in Ayawa, oh, they know they do nothing. That's when them waka. Everybody searching for the answer. Matter. If you ask me, I go ask her. I'm waiting in back. Governor, the person of federal. This is the reason why the rich is getting rich, and that's the reason why Papa City chop out. If he happen for Lagos, make he stay inside the Lagos. And I see happen for Lagos, make he stay inside the Lagos. You know big man, you never know pesin. You know shiny eyes, you never see something. You never party fago, you never do nothing. Government in Ayawa, oh, they know they do nothing. Gas keep my money low. I need some money, gas keep my money low. Cause kitty kata no they win fight. So we bring the fire, brother, me I can't shout. She cause you see me in a Bentley. You want to friend me just to end me. She know my phone say got the bless me. That's when them waka. Everybody searching for the answer. Matter. If you ask me, I go ask her. I'm waiting in back. Governor, the person of federal. This is the reason why the rich is getting rich, and not the reason why Papa City chop out. If he happen for Lagos, make it inside the Lagos. And I see happen for Lagos, make it inside the Lagos. You know big man, you never know pesin. You know shiny eyes, you never see something. You never party fago, you never do nothing. Government in Ayawa, oh, they know they do nothing.
Yeah, that's a dope record.
The guy said, if you don't know big man,
You never know anything.
person.
You never know
person, man. Now that's the reality of Nigeria. If you don't know big man, you never know person. Big men are the ones that are running things in that country. So
Abi,
they can't blame some of these women for stepping outside. But
Abi. Speaking of big men, did you hear about Elon Musk? He's now the head nigga in charge.
HNIC of the world, bro. You know, it's funny. It's funny, like, and we'll talk about this another time. I saw like a tweet from somebody in Nigeria saying, "Oh, you know, the same God that did it for Elon Musk." And somebody was like, "Elon Musk is a goddamn atheist." In case you don't know, Elon Musk ain't giving tithe or nothing. It's. I don't want to, go in because that's a different topic. But yeah, it's just funny how like our thinking is. It's like, okay, Elon Musk is the richest man. The first thing he thinks is, God, do it for me too. What are you doing that God would do it for you? Let's be honest. Like, what this nigga invented Tesla cars, like electric cars that are everywhere. He has a SpaceX stuff. This guy is doing things that is bringing in billions, granted of his religion or not. You have done nothing, but your own is God. Just come and give
People
it to
are
me.
always expecting God to.
As in just miraculous. Say, I got you. Take it, man.
Out of 7 billion,
say, you guys,
7 billion people in the world, now you get.
You ain't know they do anything. Come on, take the
Everything.
billions. Nah.
Everything.
So.
But All right, welcome, smiling sufferers. Today I have my boy here, Bablo, with me. We go way back, way back, good 20 years at this point. We both went to high school together. Um, he's a good friend of mine, and I brought him on here today to talk about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general. Because as you all know, you know, the cryptocurrencies have been skyrocketing lately, particularly Bitcoin, and I don't quite understand it. And I was hoping you could, give us a breakdown. But before we go into that, Babla, I was wondering if you could just give us a brief background of what you do.
Um, okay, so I'm a computer science graduate. My full name is Lolade Babala. I worked in telecoms for about 8 years and decided to switch things up a bit. So I took a gap year
Okay.
and just tried to rediscover stuff. And that was when I dabbled down the product management slash strategy slash software development
Okay.
angle. And that's been it for, I'll say, the past 6+ years, going on 7. And that's really it. Everybody's goal is, I believe, financial freedom, and that was pretty much what kind of led me to Bitcoin, but not originally. Originally, it was just curiosity, and
Okay.
that was literally what got my attention. Playing with it before I
Mhm.
actually figured out what it truly was.
Okay. So, the instrument Bitcoin, can you just give us like a layman's description of exactly what it is, like what it is that people are using Bitcoin for? And actually, you know what? Better yet, can you tell us how it came about, how it started?
Um, I don't know. To talk about Bitcoin, I think I need to take a step back and talk about, should I say, life?
Okay.
I have this personal perspective that life is, in its entirety, is value exchange.
Okay.
Literally, we take in oxygen, we let out carbon dioxide. It literally is value exchange, life and death, yada yada yada, and stuff like that. So with that in mind, values exchange in different means, and when we now bring it to like commerce or money,
Mm-hmm.
we go back to the barter system, because
Yes.
to understand Bitcoin and everything, you kind of need to understand the history of money.
Okay.
And with the
And
barter system,
mhm.
people just, should I say, mentally gauged what value was and exchanged items for each other. And
Okay.
then somebody figured out a better intersection, which was
Cash of currency.
currency, some version of currency,
Yeah.
from, let's say, stones to
Yeah.
shillings to paper money to plastic money, which I would say credit cards and whatever.
Yeah.
And along with money came financial systems,
Yeah.
so that people had to figure out a way to record, take record, and take stock of everything that was going on. And financial institutions were created and stuff. So Bitcoin was a product of the 2008 recession. Like, it was after the recession,
Oh, okay.
somebody pretty much came up with this solution that was Bitcoin. And I like
So you
for
said
people,
someone who exactly?
some people. So there is an alias on the internet known as Satoshi Nakamoto.
Okay.
Nobody knows if it is a man, a woman, a group of people, whatever the case is, nobody knows.
Interesting.
And this person dropped a white paper alongside everything that we know today as Bitcoin, or this group. I keep saying this person, assuming it's one person.
Mhm.
But this was dumped on the internet, and along with the nerds, it kind of spread like a wildfire. So Bitcoin has been around since as far back as 2009, if I'm
Okay.
correct. And 11 years after, almost 12 years now, it seems like, oh, it's picking up, but it's actually always been running in the background. And
Okay.
when you think about Bitcoin, I like to tell people it's an idea. And the thing about ideas are, there are many great ideas, but not all ideas catch on. And there's some ideas that come way ahead of their time.
Okay.
However, one thing about Bitcoin is, as far ahead of its time as it was, it has gained momentum year in, year out. And if you understand the curve for adoption, there is, I think, the nerds, the early adopters, the late majority, then the laggards. So
Okay.
it's been pouring through the charts, and I would say maybe we're in the, I won't even say the late adopters, let's say the early majority
Okay.
is where we currently are. And in that space, we pretty much is why the common man or people in your economic and social demographic
Yeah.
are aware of what it is now. There's still a ton of people who don't know
I
what it
still
is.
don't know. A market person in a third world country has no idea what we're talking about.
So the concept of Bitcoin is more a solution to a bunch of the problems that the financial institutions we know have. From
Yes.
this year is a good example. I don't have what the percentage is, sorry, last year,
Mhm.
but the pandemic, the United States government has printed more money than they ever did in their first 200 years. And
Yes.
the reason I bring or highlight that is because with Bitcoin, there is a finite supply of Bitcoin. With the
Okay.
current financial system we have, the government can print however much
Mhm.
money they feel like printing. And over time, that devalues, sorry, that kind of makes currency lose its value, inflation go up, and
Yeah.
so all these things were things that whoever designed Bitcoin thought about and put into the thought process, saying, okay, we're going to have a limited supply. 21 million Bitcoin is all you're ever going to get, ever.
Okay.
And designed it in such a beautiful way that every 4 years there is something called a halving, which is like a shortage in supply of the Bitcoin that can be created. Now,
Hmm.
not to get too technical, because if you go on the internet, you probably won't hear created, you hear mined.
Okay.
So the concept of mining is literally the concept of validating transactions on the underlying technology that Bitcoin sits on top, which is like the blockchain.
Okay.
So the beautiful thing about the Bitcoin network and why I call it solution to the traditional systems we're akin to is because with traditional systems, there is a central bank, there is a
Yeah.
controlling body. With Bitcoin, nobody's in control. What brings everybody together is this idea, this vision,
Yeah. It's
and
the
this belief.
understanding that we all buy into, basically.
So it is a trust-based system. And since there is no central bank, anybody who has the technical requirements and let's say the skills can plug into the network
Hmm.
and be part of the network. And these are the people that are called miners because
Hmm.
they believe in it and they validate transactions. And the plus side for them to do that is they get rewarded or incentivized in Bitcoin.
Okay.
And I mean, it sounds super easy, but the cost to mine Bitcoin is through the roof. It's profitable compared to the price.
Hmm.
And that really is what it is. And there's no centralized place. So there are miners in China. I'm
Yeah.
sure there are people mining it in Nigeria. There are
W-
tons of miners here.
Which brings me to my next question: how does Bitcoin get mined? In the
You
simplest way you can put it.
so from the little I know, there is a computer specification type for I'll say a GPU that you need.
Hmm.
It's called a mining rig, basically,
Yeah.
where you need to have the system, the hardware. And then with the hardware, I believe you need to solve like a mathematical equation
Hmm.
because all the resources are online if you're interested. And once you hook up to it,
Yeah.
your machine is on it and you're one of the engineers, I like call them engineers that are part of the Bitcoin mining network,
Okay.
basically.
Okay.
And with that being said, it started at maybe 8 cents, which is insane compared to about 40, 41 grand that it is
Crazy.
costing.
That's
So when
crazy.
people say it's shooting up in 2021, it's not really shooting up.
Yeah.
It really is, sorry,
No, that's cool.
it really is more about it has been taking a bunch of ridiculous jumps over time
Okay.
because with every 4 years, what happens is a halving. It started at 8 cents, thereabouts. 4 years after, it was about $650. I don't want to tell you what percentage that jump might be.
Yeah.
4 years after that was 2016, after 2012. The price was 12,000 something.
And you're saying after every 4 years,
1,500. Yeah.
the numbers that can get produced, no matter how many miners are plugged into the system, gets halved
Yeah,
every
it
four
gets high
years. Okay.
because that is kind of what preserves the value. And pretty much in basic economics is demand and supply,
Okay.
a scarce item. So the value goes up.
Okay.
So sorry, it was 8 cents, $12,
$50.
$650. And last year, the price at the halving
Mhm.
was $8,500.
Wow.
We're talking about last year,
Yeah.
compared to 40 grand where it is right now. And there have been, I call these things cycles because every 4 years there is that cycle you can notice and stuff like that. So we're in another cycle right now. And I think what makes this cycle a lot different is there is institutional buy-in finally. Because for the earlier years, it's been retail individuals like me and you, tech heads, who just believe, okay, this thing might be something. Let me throw $500 and see where it'll be in 10 years. But now, I think Wall Street plus organizations are finally seeing what people had seen, let's say 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, they've seen the value
And
of it.
that is why the price is shooting up, because these guys don't come with $100,000. They come with hundreds of millions. And I always throw the Michael Saylor / MicroStrategy guy as the example. This guy had his aha moment because of the pandemic. And then he realized they had too much money as a company, and they knew where to put it. So he finally researched Bitcoin. And between August last year and December last year, he had spent $1.2 billion buying and accumulating Bitcoin.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And a lot of other companies are doing the same thing. I literally just read JP Morgan has bought 10% of MicroStrategy. And this is how everybody is trying to buy into it. So these are some of the reasons for the price spike, because with institutions, they're not buying tiny chunks, and it's FOMO. Everybody is scared to miss out on what might become a store of value. And that takes me to another point with Bitcoin, because everybody is like, is it money? What is it? And the truth is, it can be money, but why spend something that the unit of it is about 40 grand on basic things? So it's being positioned more as digital gold. And digital gold, because gold as we know it has been a healthy store of value. And considering the transformation of the world, everything is going digital. Like, let's be practical. And I remember seeing a video on Twitter about 2 years ago with a 4-year-old kid who had never seen paper money. So in a future like that, what do you want to tell the kid about storing money in gold? When you're like, oh, there's Bitcoin or all these cryptocurrencies and stuff like that. So as much as it might seem absurd right now, if you can imagine a world for a 4-year-old like that, Bitcoin is not far-fetched. And sometimes I joke with people saying, Bitcoin might not be the thing, but I feel it is the thing that will lead
to the thing. So going back to this creation, so you said you have like you need some kind of special computer, plug it into the system. I know there's like a electricity aspect of it where like you need to have a certain amount of electricity to generate it, right? So that's how the technology works.
It consumes a lot of electricity. I'm sure if you try to do it in your house or apartment, whatever the case is, you would either stir up some problems, or at the end of the month, you see some ridiculous, because last time I checked, maybe it cost last year about 8 grand or thereabouts a month in electricity costs a month to mine it. But think about it, even if the cost has gone up now to 15 grand, Bitcoin is 40 grand, so it's still profitable. But the costs are a huge deal, and it's kind of why a lot of people who mine on a large scale are trying to move their mining farms, as what they call it, to like Nordic countries like Iceland. Like a bunch of them are out there because cooling brings out electricity, down electricity costs and stuff like that.
Interesting. So you're right now, it costs about $8,000 to produce one Bitcoin.
Last time I Googled it, I think it was about that.
It was about
it was for last year, not for this year.
For last year. When is the next halving?
2024. It happened last year. So
it happened last year. Wow. 2024. So it's like every election cycle. Interesting.
Nice way to put it. Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. So, and I guess I guess my next question would be, what do you see the future in terms of what do you see in the future in terms of Bitcoin? Like, 'cause at some point it's gonna get exhausted, right? It's 21 million. About how many have been produced so far?
If I'm correct, Google search will tell you about 18.5. Now, let me mention something important. The blockchain and Bitcoin is very interesting in the sense that with bank accounts, and maybe this is one of the things, you have a centralized body where if I sent you money but sent it to the wrong account, if I'm lucky and I talk to the bank, they might be able to reroute that cash. With Bitcoin, if you send Bitcoin to the wrong address, it's kind of like your
It's
money's
gone.
lost in space.
Wow. Okay. And there's
So
there's a certain amount of that has been lost so
yeah, so
far.
I think about 2 to 3 million Bitcoin since inception has been lost. So maybe people who just never remember their passwords or
Yeah.
blah blah
And
blah.
that's all that's included in the 18 million that has been produced.
Yeah,
But outstanding is about 3 million more
but with
bit.
halving, it reduces supply every 4 years, and I think the calculation is the last Bitcoin might be mined around the year 2130 or 40.
Wow.
So whoever created this thing did the math.
They really thought about that thing.
Yeah,
Wow. That's like a whole wait, you said 2140. That's a
yeah.
century.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. So my next question now is how, because we know of Bitcoin, but there are these other cryptocurrencies that have emerged since then. And I guess my question is, are those using the same kind of system? How did those come about? Like, how can you kind of give us a breakdown of that?
All of
Like
them.
stuff like Ethereum, and I heard of Litecoin and some other ones.
I don't want to punch above my weight class, but all of them live using the blockchain technology.
Okay.
And the thing is, Bitcoin was the first. So it's like the North Star
Okay.
because it is sound money, is what I would like to call it.
Yep.
However, with innovation, nobody always sticks to one thing. So a bunch of people got creative. Maybe they spotted limitations or things that could be improved with respect to what Bitcoin was doing.
And you're talking about the miners, right? The original
Yeah.
miners of Bitcoin. Okay.
Mhm. And they jumped ship. And some weren't really miners. Some were just tech guys who used to write tech articles about Bitcoin, like Vitalik, the guy who founded, what's it called? Ethereum.
Okay.
Was one, I think he used to write for maybe the Bitcoin Foundation or something.
All right.
And then he left and started Ethereum.
Okay.
And Ethereum is an interesting project because I think, not to get too technical, one of the best ways I would explain it is to think of, let's say, the London Underground. And that's me assuming everybody has a clue of the London Underground rail network.
Yes.
Created by, let's say, TfL. So think of TfL as Ethereum, who creates this.
Sorry, I'm not sure what TfL is.
Transport for London. Sorry.
Okay. Sure. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who creates this amazing rail network. However, they don't necessarily need to have their own trains.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, we've given you guys this foundation. Anybody can create a train.
Yeah.
So that's really what Ethereum is. However, Ethereum also kind of has a currency, and that currency is kind of like, it's called gas fees.
Okay.
So anything that plies the Ethereum network, any transaction that happens pays in Ethereum, like Ether.
Okay.
That's what it's called.
Okay.
So that's basically what it is. However, Ethereum is brilliant because you almost can use it in a bunch of industries so long you can conceptualize it. So for example, when you hear people saying, oh, elections on the blockchain, it is Ethereum applications that they're thinking about. When you hear decentralized finance,
Yes.
it is, well, people are building other things, but it is built on the Ethereum network for the most part.
Okay.
NFTs, like for like, this thing is called non-fungible tokens. So for like content creators, for example, if you're an artist and you create art, you could have a digital signature on the primary work, and then people are paying for digital rights to blah, 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 and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
So the possibilities with Ethereum are the surface is only being scratched, if you ask me. So it's kind of why a lot of Ether heads will tell you that, oh, Ether is better than Bitcoin, yada, and stuff like that. Because Bitcoin is more moving to a store of value thing, but there's still things being built on Ethereum, sorry, even on Bitcoin. But like Ethereum, the possibilities are endless. And the difference is with Ethereum, they still update stuff. And I think that also led to a misunderstanding in the community, because sometimes they feel like code should be left sacred, blah, 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 and stuff like that.
So I know we talked before this, and you had explained something about a fork, right? Like with some of these other cryptocurrencies where they started out as Bitcoin, and then some people decided amongst themselves that, okay, we're going to take this component of Bitcoin and we're going to turn it into something else. Can you explain, can you kind of give, because I remember when you explained it to me, but I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was something about a fork. almost.
Okay, so basically, this is going on the internet, so let me just try to articulate it as well
Okay.
as I can. So pretty much with these things, with Bitcoin, it's so crazy. It feels like it's a conviction, it's a belief system.
Mm-hmm.
So that whoever the original set of miners or
Mm-hmm.
people maintaining the network were, they believed in it so much they felt like the code was pristine,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
However, over time, there were part of the miners who felt like some changes needed to be made.
Yes.
And when those disagreements kind of happen, and let's say because we with Bitcoin, there's a should I call it a protocol or a system put in place which
Mm-hmm.
is called like the consensus based system,
Okay.
which is considering the fact that it's a decentralized system.
Yeah.
The rule is 51% of the miners who maintain the network
Yeah.
have to agree before they
On
make any.
on whatever changes. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I
And
was getting into. Okay.
so when that didn't happen, some
Mm-hmm.
people were like, okay, we hear what you're saying, but we're gonna go ahead and make this update that
Okay.
we're thinking about. And that is when the fork happened. So it's like a redirection,
Yeah.
but Bitcoin remains Bitcoin. These guys just literally take a swerve
A swerve.
and
Okay.
create their own thing. And what happens is if you hold Bitcoin, for example,
Yep.
prior to that point, because they took the fork from Bitcoin,
Mm-hmm.
you get the equivalent amount
Of whatever the value of.
Bitcoin you had in the new project.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So
Oh,
like Bitcoin
interesting.
Cash, I can't remember which other fork, but like even with Ethereum, when the disagreement happened,
Mhm.
the guys proceeded and they went to make Ethereum Classic. So
Okay.
it's not uncommon, but
Mm-hmm.
the
Okay.
true maximalists always believe let's protect this thing. Changing it now will mean we'll probably keep changing things, and that's not good. Blah blah blah.
Now, are there other cryptocurrencies that they just started from scratch on their own, or is everything linked to the blockchain?
So I'd say there are a bunch that started. No, everything is blockchain technology.
It's blockchain. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you mean.
So not all cryptos were forked,
Mhm.
and not all cryptos are on the Ethereum network.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I don't want to mismention, but I don't think there's one called Chainlink. I don't think it's an ERC20 token, which is I don't think it's a byproduct or anything that's been built on the Ethereum network. So
Oh,
I
I
think it's
see.
independent, but there are tons of them like that. There's a
Interesting.
website called CoinMarketCap.
Mhm.
It shows, I don't know if it's all the cryptos, but pretty much all the cryptos. And trust me, there are tons of
Wow.
cryptocurrencies out there.
How about I know you'd also talked you brought up the fact that now people are starting there these networks where you can kind of lend money off of Bitcoin, and you can put in your whatever Bitcoin you have and use it to receive cash. Can you kind of talk around that a little bit?
So the thing is, with new technology, people need to understand that with Bitcoin or with any new technology, it almost births an entire ecosystem. So that if we're in the early stages or the nascent stages of Bitcoin succeeding,
Mhm.
we don't even have a clue what the applications are going to be. And I even mean blockchain technology as a whole.
Yeah.
Because now we're saying DeFi, we're saying NFTs, people are going to think of things, right?
Yeah.
And even within the financial application of, let's say, Bitcoin, people are beginning to think about things like, okay, since this thing is a big deal,
Yeah.
why don't you keep it with us? Some people are called custodians.
Mhm.
And then just like traditional banking, where your money is in the bank, but they're using the money to
Yeah. To lend
get
out.
business, give out loans, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, is what some of these companies are doing, where if you have Bitcoin,
Yeah.
you put it on their platform and you get like, okay, right now, I think, what's it called? BlockFi is giving about 5% interest on Bitcoin.
Wow.
You get paid, I think, monthly, but you see your interest every day.
Every day.
So you can get like $20 interest daily, but at the end of the month, you get your payout. So basically, a bunch of these things are happening. Coinbase pretty much has this ad that says borrow up to 20K using your Bitcoin as collateral. And I'm sure
Wow.
the number is going to keep going up depending on
On the
stable
value.
price of Bitcoin. Yeah.
Yeah. So last I checked, Bitcoin was at about a little over 40K. Is it still at over 40K right now?
Today, like this morning, I think it was 40, 41. It's tugging,
God
but yeah.
damn. So, I mean, there's a limited amount. It's 21 million. And with every passing 4 years, the supply gets reduced by
The rate of
half.
supply,
The rate of supply gets reduced by half. I mean, we could be looking at. I mean, and now you said it started from 8 cents, then it
Yeah.
jumped up to like
Well,
$12, then $6.50, and then now we're at 45,
55
40.
last year, then 40.
We're at $40,000.
Yeah.
I mean, in the next 4 years, I mean, we could be looking at so much. So I mean, we could be looking at over 100,000 at this point. I mean, is that
It's
is
not
that possible?
Matter of fact, some people are JP Morgan. I don't know what price point, what time box they put, but personally,
Mhm.
just looking at historical data, I don't see why 100 between 100 and 150 this year is impossible. Now, when I say 100 and 150, it might touch anywhere between and then go back down.
And go back down.
But I don't see it as impossible because the big boys are coming in. And
Mhm.
my concern is there are the guys who can sit on this thing for 10 years without touching it.
Yeah, they have that appetite.
They
can
have
do
that
it.
much,
Yeah.
what's it called, bandwidth.
Yeah.
There are going to be the fraction of people who trade it.
Mhm.
And I think that's going to be a decent amount because Wall Street getting in, hedge funds are going to be trading this thing, pulling profits every now and then.
Yeah.
Then there are going to be people who literally just
Just
don't
sit.
even know. Like they've just been holding it because with the blockchain, you literally can see everything. So you can see addresses that have had no activity
Mhm.
since 2010. Like they just have thousands of Bitcoin, but they haven't touched or moved it.
Wow. And then they can decide to just cash out when it's.
So I feel
I mean, this thing could make billionaires out of
Oh, it
people.
already did.
Well,
The book is not here, is behind me. Bitcoin billionaires.
wow.
Guys who Mark Zuckerberg stole the Facebook idea from. They bought into Bitcoin early.
I talking about the twin. Is it those
The
twins?
Winklevoss- yeah, and they have a a crypto exchange. It's called Gemini.
Wow. Wow.
So yesterday was historic because Bitcoin,
Hmm?
they don't own Bitcoin as a whole, but the market cap of Bitcoin flipped Facebook. So it just felt like a poetic moment in history where,
Yeah.
okay, you sucker punched us how many years ago, but look at us
Look
today.
at us now.
I mean,
Interesting.
Mark is probably richer than they are, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But
it
that
has
could
been
change in
killing-
the next couple of years if the trend keeps going. And I'm sure
Yeah, so-
people like Mark too are going to start pouring money into into
I mean,
cryptocurrencies themselves.
He had put out a statement to start his own digital currency. I just don't call it a crypto because it doesn't follow the concept of being decentralized.
Oh, okay.
Because if Facebook has its own currency, then Facebook is the central bank. So you are not a decentralized currency. You're just a
Yeah.
digital currency that your people within your which is fine,
Mhm.
within your ecosystem are using, basically.
Wow. And wow, the possibilities are endless. Like when you put it the way you put it, I mean the possibilities are endless. And at some point they're gonna come up with some kind of digital currency that the average person on the street can use. At some point, it's gonna get to that
That's
point.
things like Litecoin, because when Litecoin came out, Litecoin was claiming to be silver while Bitcoin was gold. So yes, there are a bunch of currencies that they're hoping payments and day-to-day activities can be sorted out with. So it's insane. I think the success of Bitcoin is very dependent on large-scale adoption. And I'll give you
Yeah.
an example. Michael Saylor probably was the best thing that happened to me last year because just rekindling your interest in something. But there was an interview where he goes, imagine a future where Apple buys into Bitcoin and Bitcoin is integrated into Apple Pay.
It's a wrap.
Because the
It's a
iPhone is in
wrap.
almost a billion people's hands.
Yes, it's a wrap.
That is what mass adoption looks like. So it's not about how much Bitcoin you have. It's about the fact that it is being used that constantly across board. So I think
Wow.
depending on how this year ends, we can almost have a better forecast of what the future of Bitcoin is going to be.
I think, and this is just again, I have no clue because I'm not an expert on these things, but I think the more instability we have with our institutions, and we're seeing it in places like the US, the more people will flee to cryptocurrency. there are a lot of people that also hide money with Bitcoin too, right? I mean,
Oh yeah, that.
that seems to happen a lot, and I guess with if more governments, right, are starting to buy into these things. I know there was a recent, was it the Chinese government or those a government that
I think
recently.
Iran put out a statement saying they wanted to be paid for their exports in
Okay, it
Bitcoin.
was Iran. It was Iran. And I guess my fear is that if governments start to buy into this stuff, then what if they decide that they want to take control of it? I guess what if they decide that is there any, I guess my question is there any chance that they could decide to regulate this thing from on like,
From an ownership standpoint,
yes,
so
governments,
here's
that
the
is.
thing. If me and you agree that 18.5 million Bitcoin
Mhm.
have already been mined,
Yes.
3 million are gone out of 21 million. There are only 3 million to go. I don't know what the distribution is, right?
Mhm.
So for you to own that much to be able, I mean, there are people who can manipulate the market. That's all you can do
Yeah.
versus regulate it. But people who are waking up and understanding what Bitcoin is,
Mhm.
including myself,
Yeah.
I don't even think people ask me if it hits 100K, will you sell? I don't think I'm going to sell because if people are creating financial systems around, oh, you can borrow up to 80 grand with your Bitcoin, why should I sell? I'll take the loan
Yeah.
and I'll try to pay back the loan and get my Bitcoin back because if the idea sticks as digital gold,
Mhm.
it is going to be generationally passed down.
Yeah,
Like,
it
don't sell
will.
this thing. So
It will.
governments can try to stack. Like America, after the Silk Road thing, they
Yeah.
confiscated all the Bitcoin that was used for payments, but they auctioned it off. I can't
Wait,
remember the
sorry. So when you say the Silk Road thing, sorry, can you just give us a
so
brief?
there was this, should I say, dark web website for selling drugs and blah blah blah
Okay.
a couple of years ago, and payment was pretty much like Bitcoin because
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
and
And they shut
the
it down?
the FBI shut it down. The guy's in prison,
Mhm.
and I can't remember how much Bitcoin they had. But recently, the government, well, not too recently, auctioned the Bitcoin that was confiscated, and some guy, I don't want to
Wow.
reveal his name right now, paid and bought it.
Interesting.
But I know that governments are beginning to amass it because the thing is, a lot of people are hypocritical. I'll
Mhm.
tell you that. You don't know what they will bash it in public, but
But
they're
they
amassing it.
themselves they own
A typical
it.
example is Michael Saylor. He runs a publicly traded company,
Mhm.
and he needed to convince a board of directors that he was about to spend $425 million on Bitcoin.
Mhm.
He said in a conference room, he was getting pushback. He said, do you realize that when he started to talk to them individually, one of the guys that gave him pushback told him, I just had to put on a show there. I own Bitcoin. And that
Wow.
is what the world is,
Wait,
where,
Michael Saylor is the one that bought the $1.2 billion worth of
yeah, his
Bitcoin, right?
company bought
Yeah.
1.2 billion. And that is what the world is, where governments might be hypocritical, but they're stacking and
And a lot of them are hiding
amassing.
their money too in those
Yeah.
things.
And I think one last thing I would say with respect to governments is the dollar has been the global reserve currency for I don't even know how long.
Yeah.
And I last year I had this concern that if America could make a sole decision to print more money,
Mhm.
which in turn would make the dollar lose value, countries like let's even just assume Nigeria's reserve is in naira, sorry, is in the dollar. Countries like let's say Iran and everybody who also hold the dollar as a global reserve,
Yeah.
the money loses value just because of one
One
country's call
country.
to print money. I am sure everybody's thinking of an independent reserve asset. And everybody's hoping it just might be Bitcoin because it's not dependent on any one country's currency.
Yeah, it's completely independent. Wow. Okay.
And bringing it home, Niger people,
Yeah.
NSTARS, typical use case for what Bitcoin was. A
Yes, I
fund with
heard.
accounts.
Hmm.
And how did they keep collecting donations? It was Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Wow.
Bitcoin is, and I don't know if you can curse on your podcast, but it is FU money. That's
Yes,
exactly what it is.
that's what it sounds like. That's
It is.
exactly
It
what it
is FU
sounds
money.
like. Wow, the possibilities are endless, man. I'm excited for what it has to offer because me, you know me, I could be I'm kind of an anarchist. I'm kind of an anarchist, and anything that takes control away from government, I'm always in favor of, especially when it's empowering more people. There's also I know we talked about you can now they're like cards that you can use like in public, right?
Oh yeah, so BlockFi is, I don't think they've launched it yet, but they're working on like a partnership with Visa for a debit card that is crypto on
Crypto.
one end, but you swipe
Or you
and it turns
swipe.
it fiat. Yeah.
Wow.
So the future is here.
It is. It is. And for those that, I mean, for those that are really curious about Bitcoin, I hope you guys have learned something today. I know
You're
that, like, after
welcome.
I had that conversation with you, I had to start looking into it. And, it's funny because last time I had the conversation with you, it was about 38,000, something like that. And then now it's at like
I mean, but that's the
40K.
same way it goes down. So
Yeah, it does.
let people know.
Yeah.
But one thing I would say is, logically, when people see the price of Bitcoin, they get discouraged easily because 38,000 seems far,
Yeah.
super far.
But you can
You
buy
have
fractional
people-
Bitcoins now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes people need to realize, don't think about Bitcoin. Think about it, especially in your early days, as your fiat money. I
Yeah.
want to put $100, then put it.
Mhm.
Because the first time I ever dabbled into Bitcoin was 2015. I didn't know what it was. Like, I mean, I would read about it. I knew what it was, but like, I didn't know all these things. It was $464.
Yeah.
And that was 2015. By 2017, December,
Yeah.
it was 19,800.
Wow.
So Bitcoin has always seemed far away for everybody because $400, when maybe you're like, what's this thing? Not realizing that that was the best deal you were going to get.
Yeah.
2 years after was almost 20 grand. And 2015, 5 years after, we're talking 40 grand.
40 grand.
And that is how people always feel every 4 years at the end of every cycle. So
Wow.
people shouldn't think about it. They should just understand it and decide to try for themselves. I tell people that put money you won't miss.
Yeah. Disposable
Like, my dad was
income.
telling me recently.
Disposable
maybe-
income.
Yeah, $300. I can't, maybe 2-3 years ago, and he forgot it. And now it's like 1 grand. I don't know how many banks would do that for you in like 2-3 years.
No, not that many. Not unless you
It's a
own
savings
like
account.
Amazon
That's the
stock
way
or
I see
something
it
like
now.
that.
It is a savings account.
Yeah.
People will buy and sell, but historically, over the past 10 years, it's been the best performing asset. It's as simple as that. It's still early because it's trying to discover its price.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure once, and that's far away, once the last Bitcoin is mined, at least we can put a price on it and say, okay, maybe
Yeah.
it's valued at $1 million,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. But for now, it's going to keep looking. But I think volatility will reduce because many people are going to buy and just hold.
Yeah,
So that whole
yeah.
dumping isn't going to happen.
And I feel like even like as we get closer to that 21 million, the volatility would start reducing even more because
Yep.
you have less supply out there. Interesting. Man, thanks for giving us that breakdown, man. Just out of curiosity, what other like I guess stocks are out there that you fancy currently? I mean, Tesla has been on a rip
I mean, Tesla,
lately.
I tweeted something that was funny. I said, I'm not sure if we're buying Tesla stock or Tesla futures
Okay.
because Tesla's valuation is more on the future of what it can be.
On the possibility. I always hear people say that too, because when people look at Tesla's numbers, they don't necessarily translate to the value
I mean,
right
it's
now.
a great company, it's a great CEO, but like that valuation is just so funny enough. When I was buying stock last year, that was my like tiniest position because I just wasn't sold. Do I
Yeah.
regret it? Maybe, but I also want to buy stuff and just forget it. Like that's my approach now because thankfully I have a job. My job can keep it to me. Can I just make 5-year, 10-year investments and hope that when I check them,
Yeah.
they would have multiplied? But off the top, I think I'm excited by the ARK Invest ETFs.
The ARK Invest ETFs.
Yeah.
What are
so
those?
They have about 5 or 7 ETFs, ARK F, ARK Q. So ARK is this investment company that is championed by Kathy Woods. I don't remember where she was, Allianz something, but they are literally betting on the future. So they have ETFs that have done like last year, maybe like 150% gains and stuff like that. But they are looking at industries like genome mapping, electric vehicles,
Okay.
fintech. So definitely industries that I've been thinking about, and I haven't done the research for individual companies. So since they've done it,
Yeah.
maybe next time I have money, I might just decide to plug into a bunch of their
Interesting.
ETFs or something. But
Interesting.
stock wise, I'm not really thinking stock
Mhm.
yet,
Yeah.
but I think about it backwards, more like from industry before
Yeah.
so that if I can't envision what the future is going to look like
For
in
that
what,
industry
yeah,
is what you
then,
mean.
or
Then
just in general, like when I just think like, what is the future going to look like? Are we going to have designer babies where they
mhm.
can have blue eyes if they want to have blue eyes? Then I know that, okay, maybe that's going to be a thing because human beings are that vain or narcissistic
Yeah.
or like, so that's how I kind of think about it and trickle down to, so which
So
companies are
what
going.
companies are like researching this stuff?
And also, I
Interesting.
think I'm trying to also try my luck with like maybe angel investing
Okay.
or investing earlier into startups because I
Okay.
feel like IPOs are a little too late.
Yeah, I feel like that too. But although some of them, I know I was surprised about Jumia. I for some reason I
That's
thought Jumia
another
wasn't gonna.
Tesla-esque company, in my opinion. I
You
might be
think so?
wrong, but, but I don't know. I
Okay.
need them to show me their workings.
Yeah. But I think the key thing for especially our listeners is that do all this stuff with disposable income. That's what I always tell people.
And do your research.
Do it with money that if you lost, you wouldn't lose sleep over. I know like recently, I know with the Tesla, I definitely sold out of our principal, because I was like, okay, at least I know that's the money
At
that
least
we
your
put in.
company is working for you
Yeah.
now.
And then, you know what I'm saying? Because as soon as I heard he was the richest, Elon Musk was the richest man in the world, I was like, okay, let me just quickly. And then when I saw his tweet too was very weird. He came out and he was like,
Oh, that's weird.
yeah, he was like, that's weird. Well, back to work.
Back to work.
And I'm like, that is creepy. That is creepy. I'm like, I hope this guy is not trying to scam all of us. But yeah, I think the key is, just use whatever money that that's disposable, and not to just put all your life savings in it, because all these things are risks at the end of the day. All these things are risks at the end of the day. But I appreciate your insight on this stuff, man. I'm hoping that we can have more of these conversations. I know I took a lot of your time. I said I was only going to take
Anytime,
like 30 minutes
anytime,
of yours,
trust
but
me.
I'm hoping that we can have some more of these conversations, especially when these new trends arrive in the financial market. I know it's something that you follow a lot. You tweet a lot about it for sure, and I know I've heard you a few times on Clubhouse talking about some of these investments. But yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on the show today, man. I really, really do appreciate it. Please let me know if there's any. You said ARK, Abi. I'm gonna look out for that ARK
Art
ETF.
investing, you read up on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
And
read
that's
up
the
on
thing.
it.
Everybody should do their research, do their
Yeah,
due
I'll
diligence.
read up on it because the way things are going these days, man.
I'm not a financial expert. I
I
have
know,
data.
I know, I know,
I'm just saying
I know.
disclaimer.
Oh, I know, for sure, for sure. I think one of the things that always scared me with investment was the fact that there's so many people out there that you're competing with. Like you're competing with a lot, and there's
You're
some of these
competing with
people that they spend like it's their 24/7 job. This is all they do,
and that's
and
you assuming you're competing with people. You're competing with algorithms.
exactly that too. You're competing with computers that are getting there before you. Wall Street, where they tend to have better tools to better manage their investment. But all we can do is still try to get a slice of the pie, right? You
Yep.
try to get a little, because at the end of the day, man, if the way things are going, you know, it's generational wealth is what people are going to start talking about now. People are going to start looking at, you know how, they look back at the 60s and they saw how housing was like the way that people passed on generational wealth. I
Mm-hmm.
think now it's stuff like investments like these where people park their money in places like Amazon and Apple. All those people that park their money long, in the past, they're all millionaires now. And
Yep.
I feel like that's going to be a big source of how generational wealth is going to be passed. So definitely something that everyone should do their research on. I feel like, now the earth is flatter. We have more access to the internet. We have more access to resources. Doesn't matter where you are. If you're in Nigeria, if you're in whatever part of the world that you're in, you can find out about these things, and you can compete in the market. So, for my listeners, I hope you guys are able to get some value out of this. Pablo, I appreciate you coming on.
Sure thing.
So I'm gonna hopefully one of these days we'll link back up with you. My co-host wasn't here now. he's running late. But I know that he was very, very, very interested in hearing this conversation. So I guess you'll have to hear it on the podcast. But I hope we can link back up again and check back in with you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll see where Bitcoin is in the next couple of. I'm going to be looking at 2021 for sure.
Yeah. All right.
All right, bro.
Thanks, man.
But yeah. So as we were talking about from our last topic, we're talking about shooting shots. So another conversation that came up was the idea of single people. The question is, do single people have an obligation not to shoot their shot at people in relationships? And this was something that was brought up on one of our clubhouse convos that ruffled a lot of feathers.
I don't think it's up to the single people. I think it's up to the people in the relationship.
So that was the argument.
That was my
Some people
stance.
were saying that if you know someone is in a relationship, it doesn't matter whether you're single or not, that you should respect that boundary. And some others are like, well, what if that is the true love of their life that they found? Why would they not shoot their shot?
So this is weird. Funny this happened. So I saw a Bella Weddings post today.
Yeah.
That was from yesterday. Someone had posted it in a group chat I was in, and I decided to look at it. It's a picture of a man and his bride-to-be or bride or whatever, wife.
Yeah.
Anyways, looking happy. And the write-up says, he was writing to me on Facebook, and because I was in a relationship at the time, I constantly ignored him. He was so persistent and refused to back down. My boyfriend at the time took his number from his Facebook page to discourage him from further contacting me. This was in 2014. He reached out in 2016 to tell me that my boyfriend was getting married. Of course, I didn't believe him. Then he sent me the pictures as proof. This left me devastated. He proceeded to console me, and we became friends. And then he says, find out more. And this is how they ended up dating. So there were two people. Well, she was in a relationship, and he wasn't. And he shot his shot at her. And she said she wasn't interested until I guess he found out that her boyfriend was getting another. And he did. Basically, he was persistent and he did his thing. And now him and her are getting married. And this might be the love of her life. So it's really, like I said, by stance, is the first thing she said was she said no.
Yeah.
Because she's in a relationship until she found out that the person she's dating was going to marry somebody else. So from the shooter's point of view, he didn't give up.
Yeah.
He kept shooting. And eventually he found an opening.
Yeah.
He dribbled, made a shot, and went in. Sweet. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's not his duty. As long as he's not being disrespectful, as long as it's there,
As long as he's not harassing
not
her. or
harassing her.
anything.
It's her choice to say no or
I agree.
yes. So I said it that day in the room. I said most of the people that are saying, nah, you can't talk to my mans or my girl. I said it stems from insecurities. And the insecurity is that you're scared.
And they felt
that
some type of way.
They felt some type of way.
They felt some
They're
type
like,
of
no,
way
but
about that.
I said it stems from insecurities that you have, that you're scared that somebody looks at your girl in a nice way, she's gonna leave your ass. Or somebody look at your man's in a nice way, he's gonna be like, creep out. Like, have faith in
I would
your
even be
partner
worried a
too.
little bit if no one gives
do you understand?
my girl any
But
attention.
not even,
Well,
like,
I won't be worried,
not
but
worried, but
I'll be wondering to like,
I believe in the attention can waver from can even go from just liking her picture on Instagram to someone saying, hey girl, how you doing on the streets, or but you shouldn't be worried that every time something happens.
Yeah, you should have confidence.
You should have confidence in your
relationship.
your partner, that even if a girl comes at him, he's gonna say no. If a guy
should have
comes
that
at
kind of
her,
trust. And if you don't have that trust,
if you don't have the trust,
then there's something wrong.
So
And you need to talk with your partner.
and that's where I said that's where the insecurities come from, is that you're worried. It's a different case if you're telling your partner, like, look, I think you might want to creep on me, but to be worried that somebody else that is non-existent in your relationship comes in, you can't.
Yeah.
A ring doesn't deter some men away.
No.
A ring doesn't deter some
people
women
don't care.
away. You understand? So
Some people don't care.
Some people don't care. So you should be happy. They should trust that, you know what, wherever my woman or man is,
Yeah.
if someone tries to shoot a shot at them, they will kindly.
And if you
say
don't
no.
trust it, then you should definitely address that with your partner and let him or her
So
know, like,
you
how come I
shouldn't-
can't really trust you?
Yeah, you shouldn't be getting mad at the person that is single looking for his own piece of meat in the
You know
pot.
what I'm saying?
Like, everybody must chop now.
I agree, man. But some people completely disagree with that. Some people
They
feel
do.
like there's some kind of like respect The ones that even made me even laugh the most is the ones that said that it doesn't. You don't. The person doesn't have to be married. Just boyfriend, girlfriend. I'm like, boyfriend, girlfriend. In the eyes of who? And people don't care. And I do think that if you're in a relationship and you find yourself in a position where you feel like you're open to entertaining other people, let's say you're a girl and you have a boyfriend, but you feel like you want to look outside, I do think I do think, if you're gonna have any kind of integrity, I think it's important to at least let your partner know that, look, I'm feeling some kind of way. I think that's good. I think that's very important. But I don't think you can put any blame on the person shooting shots. That one is just trying to find love.
As in a hopeless place.
In a landfill of complicated relationships.
He's also doing his own, like, well, and
what I'm
like the
saying?
story I just read.
The game is the game.
The lady was in a relationship and the man kept shooting and he found his opening and now they're getting married on Bella Nigeria wedding. So I mean, would it be a successful marriage? Only they know, but at least it seems that might be his missing rib, as they say, or whatever it is.
And there's some people that started off that way. They stole someone off, and I know they always say that, if you steal someone from someone, then be worried because that person might leave for someone else. But there are also situations where those people stayed together for a very long time.
I know a story.
You know what I'm saying?
And I'll try to be very vague with this story because I'm not 100% sure. Well, I think from what I've heard, so I know a story of a couple where I won't use the gender, so you won't. So, but a couple where one person was in a different country and was sending their friend to deliver stuff to the other person, and the partner and the friend ended up getting married. The messenger ended up getting married to the messenger or the recipient of the.
That's crazy, son.
So hey, man, they've been married for a minute now.
That's crazy. That guy, that double agent, or that girl,
that
whoever
person
she was, that double agent.
So hey, man.
There was another Clubhouse convo that came up that I want to quickly address.
We spent a lot of time on Clubhouse this last week.
Yeah, we did. It was the one of the guy that dropped 1,500 naira for Butiko. Allegedly, someone came online. I don't know who. I don't know where they're always finding these stories, but these stories come up.
I'll find the tweet.
I don't know if you can read it, but someone came online and was giving this account.
The tweet was in the group chat at one point.
Of a girl.
A girl tweeted that. Okay, so she tweeted that something about somebody going to a guy's house for 1 week.
Yes.
And then when the person was leaving.
No, she traveled from
No.
out of
so
town.
This is how it started. She tweeted that, how do you go to the tweet I saw was like, how do you go to a guy's house for 1 week?
Can you find the tweet?
I'm trying to find it. How do you go to a guy's house for 1 week and when you're leaving, he gives you 1.5? So what then now happened is somebody was able to get the person who tweeted this to come into the room.
Oh, yes.
So we can ask her questions on this. And from her questions, she said, what I got was a girl went out of town to see a guy. And when she was going, she told him she didn't have money. And she needed, I think, transportation, whatever. The guy told her to borrow. Yeah, there it is. That's the tweet. She
said, a babe spent 1 week with you and you gave her 1.5 naira. Okunri buru
So
go.
when somebody else in this group was saying that 1,500, I was like, please, we don't use 1,500 for naira. You say 1.5.
That's true. 1.5. Now 1.5.
So anyways, so she said the person was given borrow 6K. The girl borrowed 6K.
Yes.
To go see the guy. So she borrowed 6,000 naira to go see the guy. I guess to cover the transportation or whatever. And she was with the guy for a week. And when she was leaving the guy, and she told the guy beforehand that she's borrowing money and it was 6K. And the guy gave her 1.5. I don't know if she told him it was 6K, but I think she told him she was borrowing money. And he said, go ahead. He borrowed the money and he gave her 1.5 to be taken.
They said they went multiple rounds,
and they were casual. They were casually dating or having casual relationship. Yeah, so it wasn't a case of they were even like in a serious relationship. It was a casual relationship. She spent 6K to go and see him, and he gave, well, technically 4-5 because he gave her 1-5 back. So yeah, so technically she paid to have sex with him.
That's essentially what happened.
I'm kind of torn between calling him a douchebag or a king.
Oh, as in, that's a very, very
It's like it can go either ways.
wow.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that's
hey,
crazy.
he finessed her and he did this thing.
Serious
man.
finessing. But yeah, some people were getting mad that, who are they arguing against? Anyways, I forgot.
No, just arguing that. No, I don't think anybody was in support of the guy.
Okay, obviously not.
I think when the full details came out, I don't think anybody. The one thing I will say though is the girl who tweeted it said obviously she's tweeting it from. She said she heard the story in another group that she was in. Mm-hmm. But I kind of think it was her because she kind of like could answer a lot of the questions.
You had way too many details.
Way too many details to be a member, like to be seeing it, like fam. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
And you weren't like, hold on, let me check. You were like giving the answers like
right there.
But who knows? Or somebody said she might have made it up too, but we don't know.
She might have. She might have. But yeah, it was just one of those things that generated a lot of conversation on Clubhouse the last couple of weeks. What else happened, man? Okay, yeah, in hip hop news, man, some shit's been going on. So the first one I want to address is, I don't know if you heard, but Snoop is beefing Eminem. I don't know if you heard, what caused it.
What caused it?
Basically, it was that, according to Joe Budden.
It's a feature request.
Yes, according to Joe Budden has all these inside people that give him gist, and a lot of his gist usually comes out.
When you go into Joe Budden's rooms, like on Clubhouse, he's always having celebs, all the celebs in there, and people like that.
So they said it started with a request from Snoop Dogg to get a feature from Eminem. Now they're saying that they don't know if it's that Eminem didn't get it, or maybe that the person that they delivered the message to didn't deliver the message, or that person delivered it and Eminem punted. But long story short, Snoop didn't get his feature. So I think they were interviewing Snoop, and Snoop had made a comment along the lines of, he doesn't rate Eminem in his top 10, that he doesn't listen to Eminem.
Joe actually spoke about this on Clubhouse.
He did, yeah. That he doesn't speak to me. I heard it on his podcast. Yeah. But yeah, Joe be on that Clubhouse, man.
Said he had Royce and Nori and there, and they were talking about it.
Yeah, but long story short, they said that, then they talked to Snoop, and Snoop was like, he doesn't rate Eminem. Basically, he was just saying a lot of, I won't say disrespectful, but being very dismissive of Eminem, and pretty much saying that he's not in his top 10, and that, the best of Eminem was under Dre, and this and that. So obviously, this guy came out with a diss record. The diss record wasn't really like crazy, like Eminem on his last album.
Eminem's always ready to be dissed.
I'm like he's bored. I know he's like almost 50 now. Yeah, I'm like, this guy, bored, man. Like, I'm like, this guy still be doing all these this record, 8 Mile, records. Anyway, long story short, Eminem put out this record. I mean, it was like a light jab. It wasn't anything crazy, but he was pretty much saying that, something about Snoop Dogg, and he doesn't really see him as a god, that if anything, he sees him the opposite of God, with these lyrical stuff. And obviously that's like a huge deal, because they're in the same camp. They're all students of Dr. Dre. So this kind of made the news in the hip hop world in the last couple of weeks. And, you had some people taking Eminem's side. You had some people taking Dr. Dre's side. Taking Snoop's side. And in the midst of all this stuff, they said Dr. Dre collapsed from a brain aneurysm.
Not related to this stuff.
Oh, no, not relating. But, I'm just giving the news here. But they said he collapsed from a brain aneurysm. And everyone was kind of scared for a minute there. Like, wait, what the fuck is going on? So that happened. We don't have to get into it. I just thought it was just something that was worth bringing up in hip hop news.
Say he's better now, something like that.
Yeah, he's better now. A brain aneurysm. I don't think it popped. They said it's when it pops that people usually don't recover from when it pops. That they usually either die, or they
Crazy, man.
or they die or they lose all control of like their bodily functions. Like they become vegetables essentially. No offense to anyone that's had brain aneurysm, but yeah, that's the threat, man. And if Dr. Dre is not someone that we want to see go anytime soon. He also happens to be going through like a very, very messy divorce battle.
Yep.
So I'm sure he's under a lot of stress, man. Just coming from Smiling Surfer, I wish you a speedy recovery. It's not like you're gonna hear us, but still, Dr. Dre is someone that I really, really respect. I wanted to be a producer at one point because of him. But
we all did, man.
Yeah, so much for my producer dreams. Then something else happened. Kanye West and Kim K. They said that they're about to divorce.
Because Kanye West is supposedly on the deal with
a Jeffree Star.
Jeffree Star.
Like, if that story is true,
I guess
2021 is off to a rough start.
I guess
Let me
you
just
do
put it that way.
I guess it is DL because Jeffree Star is trans, right?
Yeah, he's trans.
Yeah, he's trans. A trans woman, so it's
Yeah,
still the DL because
that would be crazy. Especially after all this born again stuff. That would be wild.
And then Jeffree
That
Star,
would be
Jeffree Star
wild.
put out a tweet or something saying
He's feeding into it.
I meant to go to church, something like that. But it might also be rumors.
I'm really hoping it's not true. I'm hoping because you know me, I love Kanye.
There's so many controversial people out there. So Jeffree Star is probably like, if it's not even true, it's probably like, yo, let me milk this too. So.
Maybe they're saying that he moved to Wyoming, which is where Kanye West is. They're saying that Kanye West and Kim right now they're fighting over their Calabasas property, which is worth over $60 million.
I found Kanye and Kim's marriage kind of weird.
You did?
But I don't know them personally. So I only know them from TV and music, and their personalities just didn't seem like.
But they're both attention seekers,
Kanye,
though.
Yeah, but Kanye
to an
like,
extent.
I guess, but it's love, so you can't really say. It just didn't
you
seem.
can't really say.
Honest, to be honest, I'm not really interested in their relationship.
You're not.
I'm not.
No, I liked he.
I could kill us.
So one thing that I would point out was that he knew how there were his displays of affection for her. I mean, it was always over the top, but there was always something about it that was actually very, very pure. I always found it admirable. Like even when he proposed to her, he shut down an entire stadium and he had like an entire string. Well, not a string quartet.
Is that a her or Kanye thing?
No, it was he did it.
Like, is that if you took Kim out and put somebody else, would Kanye have still done it? Is what I'm saying.
Possibly.
What kind
But
of person he is.
but
we don't know.
Yeah, but we don't know. But my point is that like his displays of affection, I always found them very admirable. Like even for like Valentine's Day, where he remember that time that he got like the house full of like roses and then he got what's that sax player? Well, not the sax, the guy that plays the Steve G, or what's his name? Kenny G.
Yeah.
He got Kenny G to come and like play for her. Like, and then the last one that he did was I think on her birthday.
Is that where Nigerians got that stuff from?
Probably.
But
no, Kanye goes.
Well, Kanye got
over
Kenny,
the top
because Nigerians have been doing that trumpet saxophone thing with like surprise. It's very, very annoying.
Kanye has been going over the top.
It doesn't sound so good sometimes, but it looks like okay, Kenny G.
But I mean, he got Kenny G himself.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a huge deal. And then the last one that he did, he had a hologram of Kim K's dad that had died, and got the exact features, the voice, everything, and got him to say some like sweet words to her while she was on vacation. Like just huge displays of love that I just personally always found. But then again, I'm a Kanye fan, so I guess I'm a little bit biased.
I mean, there are two ways it could be that Kanye is the kind of person Kanye is, and if that was anybody else, he would have
possible
done it,
too.
or
It's possible.
Kim is the reason why he's doing it. So we
It's
don't
possible.
know. We really don't know.
Did you ever listen to Bound? Did you ever hear Bound?
I did hear about it.
That was my jam, man. That was my jam.
As far as the relationship goes, I'm not really invested in any
In
celebrities.
them. In any celebrity
I
relationship.
can't care less.
Yeah, there's no point being too invested in it. Even when it happened, because I was a huge fan of like their marriage. And me and one of my boys, we always used to go like he's like a big Jay-Z, Beyonce fan. Me, I've always been team
Kim Ye.
Kim Ye. But when it happened, I was like, it was good while it lasted. They lasted for like 10 years, 4 kids.
Yeah, they lasted longer. Sure.
Longer than a
previous one
whole
was
lot of
72 days, right? Or
yes,
was it? Yeah, so
yes.
it
So
lasted way longer than that.
yeah, but
Who was it? Blake Griffin? Who was it? Who did she go?
it wasn't
to?
Blake
It wasn't
Griffin, but he looks like Blake
Looked like
Griffin.
Blake Griffin.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot
who
his
was the
name.
guy?
He
What
was
was
he
his
was a
name?
basketballer
Basketball,
too.
like, looks like Blake Griffin.
He looks like Blake
Yeah,
Griffin
who was
like
it
this.
again? Yeah, but yeah.
I forgot who it is. But yeah, man, that's about. I think that's about everything that I had for today. I think the one thing I wanted to see if we could touch on is the smiler and sufferer of, let's just say, of the year so far, of the first week of 2021. I think it's pretty obvious who the sufferer is. Who would you say the smiler is?
Who's the sufferer?
You don't see what's going on with Donald Trump.
Oh,
You don't see what's going on with Donald Trump.
oh, if we have time, we can touch on that.
Yeah. For those that don't know, we don't have to go into it, but something really crazy happened in the Capitol.
I totally forgot about that for a
Capitol this week on the 6th of January. A bunch of Trump supporters
Revolution Day.
stormed the Capitol Hill while they were counting the electoral votes, and it was pretty intense.
Not really sure what the idea was.
I don't know what
They didn't think it through.
they were taking selfies. They were taking selfies.
I think it was because even if you can't stop the in.
You can't stop it.
You can't stop it.
Yeah.
So they will still count it.
They were still going to count
Do you
it.
understand?
I don't
Like,
think they thought it through.
They didn't think it through.
I don't think they thought it through.
I think they thought maybe if we storm it, then they would
Be
have
intimidated
a
or
re-election.
something.
Sorry, they will have a
Yeah, they didn't really think it through.
They would re-vote. So I mean, people will vote again, or they will. I don't know what the thought process was. It's
Yeah.
like there's just nothing that could have happened, or
Yeah.
did you want to go steal the
I-
actual certificates, or like
I don't know. I have no idea.
what was it? So
I have no idea.
then
I
they
have no
get
idea.
there and realized that we didn't think this through, and then it became a free for all where they're like, all right, let's go, let's take selfies.
They were
let's
sitting
sit
down on Nancy Pelosi's desk.
That guy, they already arrested. He's already in jail now.
Dude,
And then one of them stole her computer.
America looked
Like
crazy.
good luck turning on that computer, bro. You're gonna be
America looked crazy, and people were going in like, "Wow, this is
guy.
what America."
Venezuela was
the other country.
it was
So
saying-
now, when America decides that they want to go and do democracy
You
in the
can't.
country, how?
it's going to take a long.
The images.
I don't think for the next 10 years, I don't think America can claim to be the free world.
The
because
images.
everybody will now tell you, "Now we good."
There was a lot of damage done.
It was a lot
on
of
the
damage
6th.
done. And that is why, so we also had this last conversation about, is it right that Twitter suspended his account permanently?
So yes, Twitter then suspended.
And-
First of all, so let me just talk about it. So people started resigning from his cabinet.
Yes.
A
His
lot of
lawyer-
his
the lawyer involved in the
supporters-
phone call
A lot of his supporters started like
Biden has cut himself off. Sorry. What's his
Mike
name?
Pence?
Pence has cut himself off from him.
yeah, I think they haven't talked
They
or
haven't
something.
talked, yeah.
And then now Twitter, Facebook, all of them, they completely cut off
Instagram,
his-
everybody took him off.
his feed, which was a sitting
He tried to tweet-
president.
He tried to now tweet from the presidency account. They shut it off again.
Is that what he did?
So they shut off Donald Trump
Yes,
account.
yeah.
Then he now tried to tweet from presidency account.
They kept shutting him
shut
down.
him down again.
They kept shutting him down, which I thought was unprecedented. I didn't agree with them shutting it down. I don't think that they should have. They said that they did it because they felt like he was going to inspire more riots. But I feel like if there's going to be any riots, they were going to happen anyways. And
why
I don't
they
think
did it?
his
You know why
words.
they did it. I think they've been wanting to do it for a long time. And
Probably.
I think it's such a coincidence that it was on the day where it was finally certified that he's not going to be president again.
Yeah.
That they decided, all right, well, this nigga ain't coming back.
Because they know that they can't do anything
They can't do
against
anything.
them. Probably.
Like there's no right now, free speech isn't covered under social media, isn't bound by free speech.
It's not.
Um,
They're a private
a
company.
Private company, a lot of laws. But if you did this to Trump while he was still president, he can
can
find a way.
Yeah, he can pull away some of their powers.
Pull away some of their powers.
Yeah, it's called Section 230.
Yeah,
it's the Section 230 is basically the thing that makes it impossible to sue social media companies for something that might be said against you.
Yes.
He could have lobbied to remove
that section,
that protection.
Yeah. So
now it will have still had to go through Congress and all that, but
now he doesn't have. It's 50-50. And then he's no longer president. So they were kind of waiting to be sure that he's out. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, all right, well, that VIP treatment you've been getting, you have
They're going to pull it.
We are pulling it. And
it is a private company, so they have every right to do it.
Google took off Parler. And Apple is
now contemplating
now, and people too got mad at why is Google doing this, and Google said they've been telling Parler for a long time that you need to find a way to moderate your content because a lot of your content is inciting violence, and we need you to moderate it. That's our rules. Now, is that rule really enforced everywhere? Maybe not.
No, probably not.
But I give the example of when I was trying to do my betting company back in the days. Google, every time I put the app on, Google took it down and told me, send me a snippet from their policy.
Do you think Google may be too powerful?
Hold on.
How can they be the one to decide?
That's what I'm saying. So they sent me a snippet of their policy saying at the time they didn't permit such apps like me. But then I was like, FanDuel and DraftKings are doing the same thing I'm trying to do, and they are on your platform. And every time I tried to get an answer from Google, they said no. And from what I found out was FanDuel and DraftKings have had conversations with Google. And they've had an understanding.
They probably just have a bit more. They just have more money.
They have more money, exactly.
They just have more money.
So, but you know, the end of the day was, it's allowed because Google is a private company. So they can tell you to your face, we don't accept this, and let somebody else do it. So,
I mean, what is there any other platform that one can go? Or does Bing, like, so what you're trying to do? Can Bing do the same thing?
what's that?
Bing now, the other one, the Microsoft one is Bing.
No, but Google, because of Google Play Store.
Oh, sorry, Google Play Store.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they've now actually changed their policy.
Okay, so you can do it now.
Yeah, Apple was fine, but Google has now actually changed. They changed their policy, I think, 2 years ago, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, or 3 years ago, they're like, yeah, anybody can upload it now.
People have
but
so much
they
power,
have so much
man.
power, so they can tell you to your face, no, and you're like, but this guy's doing it, but yeah, you know. So, and that's what it is they've looked at Parler and said, well, unfortunately, you know, because you're right wing and you're very far right wing, and it doesn't go with.
I mean, they let anything fly on Parler.
They do. That's the problem.
It's like Parler is like complete free speech.
Yes,
they say, like, people go there, they say use N-word, anything.
Yes, so
and they let them,
because we try to be in a very more politically correct world. Even if you're not on the left side, you're still a little more central. You're not as, like, the average person is not tries to be more politically correct than possible.
Yeah.
So you're not as liberal. You might not be the most liberal person, but you're not, even if you don't say nigga, you're going to not say it in public.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Google is like, Parler does not care for all that. Parler is like, come on, do what the fuck you want to do here. So Google says, we're going to take you guys off. And they are able to give you a reason. They don't even need to give you a reason.
They don't.
They decide to give you a reason, which might be BS. And Twitter too has given reasons to why Trump is off. So people are mad. They're like, well, but unfortunately, this is social media. And, you know, but I don't like the rhetoric that people are saying, oh, social media is trying to cause you up to Democrats. I believe if anybody is going to regulate social media, it's Democrats.
They're the biggest threat to them.
So honestly, I just think,
but maybe that's why they're doing the bidding of Democrats,
to cause you up to them not to do it.
Yeah, because they're in power now.
They're in power now, and I can tell you, Democrats are doing. Mike Zuckerberg is going to have so many more meetings with Congress when Democrats are in office. They're going to call him back to have so many more privacy policy meetings. So it's going to be
2021 is ready.
The next 4 years is going to be interesting.
2021 is off to a rough start. Well, I think we left 2020 behind.
The next 4 years is going to be interesting.
And it's just like 2021 came and all of a sudden they were storming the Capitol building. So who would you say is the smiler of the week? Who's winning right now? Who's like in 2021? Who would you say is like? I mean, you're obviously winning. You look at you giving us baby boy.
Winning is, I'll say Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
They've been able to assert that yes, we are.
He did, and he did win
presidency.
Senate
And
and
they won
the
Senate.
Congress.
They won 2 seats.
It's a full Democratic House now.
Is it full? Isn't it tied?
No.
The Georgia one, wasn't it?
Oh no, they won both of them.
And that made it tied.
It made it 50-50, but Kamala Harris becomes the tiebreaker.
Oh, so it's full.
So here's the thing now. The Democrats don't have any excuse anymore at this point.
Do you know that I
They
feel
don't.
like they're kind of mad because now they're gonna have to do the 2,000 stimulus check.
And you know it's funny because I was actually happy when
They had to do
they
it
won
now.
in Georgia because I'm like now
Now
they
you
don't
have
have
no
any
excuse.
excuse. None.
You have no
None.
excuse.
You know at one point Trump was calling for 2,000 and then Republicans blocked the 2,000.
But Trump did not want 2,000.
But he was calling for it though.
Trump was being very smart with that statement.
Well, but he was calling for it.
He was calling, and he knew that
he went against the Republicans,
Mitch
and for some reason,
Mitch
the Dems.
McConnell was not going to.
Was not
approve,
gonna do it?
So he knew it.
Well, now they got all the control.
They got everything, man.
They got all the control, and they don't have any excuses. I'm interested to see the way the next year
they
goes.
got the House, the Senate, the
Everything.
presidency.
Everything. They got everything.
America better be great.
They got everything.
For 4 years.
They got everything.
This is pressure, man.
They got everything.
This is actual pressure.
It is. It is. And you see, and that was why I felt like if the Republicans won the Senate, Biden will have been able to use them as an excuse not to pass some of like the really radical socialist agendas. But
you know
now,
what? It's actually
now,
But you know what is actually good for United States because it's you're going to see what the Democratic Party is really, and
it's gonna accelerate whatever they want to do, and then there's gonna be a balance at some
gonna be a
point.
balance
In
at
2
some
years,
point. 2 years,
the
yes.
Republicans are gonna win something.
they're going
in 2
to
years.
because and also all eyes on Democrats, and there are a lot of things they want to do that might not favor us that they cannot do.
Yeah,
Because you can't hide behind
you can't.
Republicans are going to veto
Can't.
it. You can't.
You
or-
can't.
You can't
So-
because you have everything you need right now.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I wonder what the first thing he's going to tackle is. I think he said there was going to, maybe immigration. Who knows? That's
Perhaps.
the biggest.
See.
Or the stimulus check. So some of you might be getting 2K.
Stimulus check.
Well, 1,400 since they already give 600.
Yeah, they gave 600. I don't know. We'll see, man. Should be an interesting year. But I think that's all we had for today, man. As usual, man, guys, don't forget, follow us on Facebook. Search for us, Smiling Sufferer. We're on Instagram, Smiling_Sufferer. And we're on Twitter, @SmilingPod. Please follow us. Also, we're on YouTube. Subscribe. Hit that ping button on the corner over there. See that ping button? Yeah. And hit us up, man. I also happen to be on Instagram too. My personal page is @Courageous. My Twitter page is also Courageous, KOREGEOUS. And yeah, man. It's nice to be back. 2021. Wale, any last words?
Nah, closing song is what's a song called "Wind That Thing," and it's by Nappy and Bella Schmurder.
All right, check
And
this.
there was a video of Bella Schmurder performing
Drunk, Abby.
drunk.
Yeah, but he found my hand.
Bella Schmurder, if you can hear this, it's too early. It's never even. There's
As
even
in,
never a right
come
time
on,
to
man.
do it.
Come on, man.
But if there
As
was a
in-
more wrong time, is now.
Jeez.
So, God,
Can you make some money for us?
Get your head in the game, bros. Don't be stupid, bro.
All right.
Fires, killing everybody 6 foot plus. High tension, shock anybody with no caution. Killing with that body fire, gun we are lights, you are shine like. She should have prayed for me. Killing with that body fire, gun we are lights, you are shine like. She play up my then I wallet pẹ̀lú bomb shots. Only taba wallet is a gunshot. She know with you guys with the nice shots. She want run third, take one shot. I'm a then I wallet pẹ̀lú bomb shots. Only Tabawole is a gunshot. She know with you guys with the nice shots. She want run third, take one shot. Oh boy, why nothing? Oh boy, why nothing? Oh boy, why nothing? Oh boy, why nothing? I got many girls, all the talk is bent. Money in my eyes we set. I got 4 girls, Sheraton, I'm on point. All the good time with the work of the sauce. Never bad time, every time we flex. I got good girls when you said they bad. Ram me on time, baby. Ram me like grace on me. Mama tell I wale pẹ̀lú bomb shots. Only Tabawole is a gunshot. She know with you guys with the nice shots. She want run third, take one shot. Mama tell I wale pẹ̀lú bomb shots. Only Tabawole is a gunshot. She know with you guys with the nice shots. She want run third, take one shot. Oh boy, why nothing? Oh boy, why nothing? Oh boy, why nothing? Oh boy, why nothing? With that body fire gun, we are lights, you are shine like. She with that body fire gun, we are lights, you are shine like. She pray up there. Should I push for me?